For play, presented by Barstool Sports. It is December 8th, 2020. Big week. We've got the final major of the year, the 75th U.S. Women's Open in Houston. Obviously, it's a weird year. COVID schedules all got messed up, twisted up, which works out great because now in December, when it's pretty much golf season's over, a lot of these guys are posting on Instagram, Twitter about how they're in the off season. We've still got the most important major in all of women's golf, the 75th U.S. Women's Open. We're going to, on Thursday's show, we're having an interview or two from some very, very impressive women in the women's game to kind of highlight and go through a little bit more of the tournament. Again, it's down in Houston, Cypress Creek at Champions Golf Club. There's actually, if you go to USGA's website, I did it this weekend, they have sick flyovers. And, you know, we obviously are big in the drone game, flyovers. We're obsessed with it, footage porn, whatever you want to call it. They got sick hole-by-hole flyovers of this golf course, which looks fantastic and very, very difficult. So it's a big week. We're going to talk a little bit about the U.S. Women's Open today, and then we're going to talk a lot about it on Thursday's show. But it's a major. It's their most important one. I mean, it's the U.S. Open. So, like, winning the U.S. Open is the biggest thing. This show, we've got myself, Trent, and Frankie. Lurcher's not here. He is working, slinging drones. Hopefully he'll be here for the interview. I think tonight we're interviewing and having his glorious return to the show of Kevin Kisner. So I'm going to tease that now. We'll just have to cut this out if he doesn't make it. But, you know, Kiz has a life. He has a foundation that he runs. He has young children that he has to tend to. So tonight we're going to Zoom with Kiz once he puts the kids to sleep and he has a little bit of time to chit-chat with the boys. So we'll catch up. He obviously lost in a playoff a couple weeks ago, but made over $700,000. He's had a pretty damn good year, but it's been a weird year. He played really well at the PGA Championship. So we got a lot to get into with Kiz. So he'll be joining in a little bit, and we're going to rip through a bunch of from the galleries. But, gentlemen, hello. How are you?
Doing well. Speaking of drones, did you see Michael Jordan's new golf course, The Grove, is actually sending in drones of beer from the clubhouse out to tee boxes? That video is going viral.
I mean, that drone was like a helicopter. Did you see that thing?
It's the most elite drone of all time. It's got like 24 propellers on it. It's the most loud fucking like military drone I've ever seen in my entire life. But the amount of beer it held and just the whole like process and of being on a tee box and the experience of seeing that, like the fucking an airdrop. That's what I was thinking of. Is that what it's called? An airdrop? And called? Is that called?
That's one of the best terms too in all of golf. When people call it airstrike.
Airstrike.
I think the first time I ever heard airstrike was actually at Wingfoot. I was out there with my boy Shane, Teddy, and a handful of cool guys out there and that crew. And obviously we have all our connections with Wingfoot now, but this was like 3 or 4 years ago. The show was just bare bones, myself and Trent, Robbie Fox, our producer, and I got invited out there. It was like a Sunday afternoon, and they're like on the 11th or 12th hole, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna call in an airstrike." And I was like, "Does that mean like you're gonna curse me and I make triple? Like, what does that mean?" They're like, "No, we're gonna call in an airstrike." And you had one of the guys from the shop came out in a cart and dropped off a bag of drinks, and we just had ourselves a lovely afternoon. One of the best terms in all of golf, airstrike.
And this is a legitimate airstrike. It's literally coming in from the air, dropping down, grabbing your beer. So that was really cool. And Michael Jordan if he owns a golf course, you expect things like that to happen. He's just got all the money in the world. He's a huge golfer, and it's probably the best place to belong of all time.
MJ is, I will say, I'm glad the Last Dance, I'm glad that obviously that it happened and that I was able to like watch it and consume it and understand fully Michael Jordan, because pretty much I feel like through our generation, there's two names. It's like Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan. And I've argued forever that like Tiger Woods has done more for his sport and he's become such this global figure. And Jordan was just like a little before that. Like I was a little too young and I wasn't that crazy into basketball. But like Michael Jordan's the coolest motherfucker of all time. Like of all time. So the fact that he's huge into golf created this fantasy playland, The Grove, where they're just dropping off drinks and beers and cocktails from the fucking sky with a legit drone that's 10 times more powerful than any of the drones that we have. It's cool. Speaking of drones, I got my drone back. Apparently.
Really?
What?
I just got a text. So I want to give a shout out to a guy who emailed me and was like, "Hey, I actually work in roofing in Florida, in the state of Florida. I go off, do all kinds of different things." which course did you guys lose it at? I'll contact the course and I have the equipment. I'll just go get it down for you. And I was like, dude, that'd be amazing. He contacted the course. The course is like, we're private, fuck off. So that didn't work, but I do big thanks to that guy because he was willing to do it. And then ultimately, I was able to contact folks that we worked with who spoke to the course. And I just thought the course would be like, yeah, we'll work on it. And we would never hear from them ever again. And then this weekend, I just got a random picture texted to me from one of our guys. And it was just a photo of my drone on a desk. And he's like, yeah, they got it. And now I just spent fucking $1,800 last week on a new drone.
Oh, man.
Got to have it. But, I mean, now we got 3 drones. Frankie's got one. I got one. So we got a bunch of drones.
I have a question. Do people know what we're talking about?
Yes, because I said that I lost my drone in a tree.
Okay.
But they don't know the details of why, because we have dangled in front of their, little Christmas face. Yes, exactly.
Okay. I couldn't remember what. It's one of those things we're getting where the time shifts, and I don't remember what we said. We just know that you lost a drone in a tree. It was very, very funny, and now you got it back, which is good because I did not think you were going to get that drone.
We're performing the sexual act of edging on all of our listeners, where we get them to the point where they're about to climax, and then we stop, and then they go, what? We're extending the feeling until these videos come out.
Yeah, and I hate to do that too much because I'm sure that pisses some people off, but I just wanted to make sure that they all sort of had an idea of what we were talking about. It wasn't just us 3 idiots talking about your drone that got stuck in a tree.
And you're right, Trent, because we did this weird move that we've never done before where we filmed all kinds of stuff incognito, under the radar. It's going to take a few months before we start to release it and people know what happened. And then that night, we recorded a full podcast detailing the entire day.
Right.
And Trent's referring to the fact that we may have just never even told you that the drone went into the tree outside of that show that you haven't listened to yet.
Correct.
Who really fucking knows? Point is, my drone went into a tree. We were filming with a very prominent PGA Tour superstar. I flew my drone into a fucking tree, and it just stayed in the tree. Nobody could get it all day long. We had to use Frankie's drone, and then now my drone has been returned to me. So big thanks to whoever got it out of the tree. I don't know. It's just a mysterious figure, but I have now 2 drones.
Yeah.
We got an army drone, a drone of army, an army drone, an army of drones is what I was going for there.
Yikes.
A fleet. You could say a fleet.
A fleet. I couldn't get those words out.
What's the thing Coley Mick says? It's like a flock of it's something like a flock of birds. It's in his, isn't it in his I'm really butchering this now. It's in his Twitter bio. Coley Mick, who's our editor-in-chief. Oh, he took it out now. Fucking Coley Mick fucked me.
It was like a flock of geese is known as a swarm.
A swarm. I remember that being a huge debate on Twitter. Trent, you look like you're looking right through the computer at me, and you have no idea what I'm talking about. I know you know what I'm talking about. You're the biggest Twitter guy on the show.
So I know Coley once had a tweet go very viral with something to do with something you're referring to, but I cannot remember the specifics.
Like a swarm, a flock of duck is actually called a swarm or something like that. And I remember duck people or geese or goose people went crazy on him for not saying the right thing. The only reason I bring that up is because you were trying to think of the word of a formation of drones, and I was going to call it a swarm of drones, thinking you'd understand the reference and be like, oh, that was that Twitter thing that our friend Coley Mick got into, but you didn't, and you fucked up the segment.
Whoops.
Me and Trent still haven't recovered from what we did the other night. I don't even want to see his face right now. The fact that I looked at him for 15 hours, but we can get into that whenever we want to. I literally can't even look at him right now. I'm triggered.
I think a swarm is what we will call it. We will have a swarm of drones. I do want to get into your guys' little marathon of a weekend. Before we do that, another reference point I would like to make is the Transfusion by Owens Mixers, available on Amazon. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you get it. 1-day shipping. It's awesome. It's easy. They've got a bunch of other good flavors too. Owens, the mint cucumber lime. Can't tell you how many people finally they buy in. They buy the product. Then they review the product and send it to me. And all they say is that they've just ordered more and more because they go through it so quickly. All their friends want it. They want to drink more. And bada bing, bada boom, you've got a bunch of good cocktails thanks to Owens Mixers. They revolutionized the mixer game, realized that it was old, it was outdated, it wasn't cool, it wasn't good. They came in, Owens Mixers guys. We know them very well. They're good friends of ours, huge supporters of the show, huge supporters of Barstool Sports. And they made it really fucking simple. I love to drink. a lot of people like to drink. And all you do is you pour your liquor in, you pour your ice in, and boom, you pour your Owens mixer in, and you've got yourself an A+ elite, classy as fuck cocktail. So go to owensmixers.com if you would like to, or go to Amazon, bunch of different stores, retail, they've got them, and get yourself the Barstool Transfusion, get yourself Owens Mixers. You're going to love it. You fucking guys went live for 15 hours on Saturday?
Was it 14 hours?
Something like that.
I think it was 14 hours.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
Well, yeah, I woke up. It was Saturday, right? Yeah, Saturday into Sunday. I woke up on Saturday, and I'm walking around my house, quarantining, doing the whole fucking COVID thing, like, not really going out. No one's going to bars. No one's going to, like, whatever. So I'm like, I think I'm just going to play some 2K today. We've been trying to build up the YouTube page. Go subscribe to Fore Play on YouTube. Our attack at this is we're going to build it up as much as we can. And so we're going to play a bunch of 2K. We're going to do as much as we can, constantly keep that fucking stream going so that maybe other people watch our videos, whatever. So I texted Trent, which I usually do. I said, hey, man, like, you want to get some alternate shot going today? I think I'm going to do a marathon stream. Like, I'm just going to hop on and see how long I go because I really have nothing to do today. So we might as well. And I actually even texted him. I'm like, man, like, if you want to hop in like later, I don't feel like locking you in for the whole day. So like you can hop in, hop out. Like I'll do the society event at 8:00. Like no problem. You're in for a couple hours. You're out. Well, turns out we did alternate shot for about 6 hours. Trent watched the Iowa game. We played society events. Garden City Men's Club was in the game. Someone just built the Garden City Men's Club, which I caddied at. That's where the judge grabbed my neck.
Those greens fucking murdered me. I played in that society event. I mean, those greens
15,
are monstrous.
15, which is an impossible green in real life, it's the meanest green of all time. It slopes the whole thing left to right, impossible to read, impossible to hold it.
I made like a 12, dude. You guys know me. I had my round the other day where we played. I shot fucking 48 over through 2 rounds. I started to figure it out. I went to the range. I literally went to the range. I calibrated my swing. I figured out I'm taking it back on a different path. I'm hitting it well. I came to that point. I was like 1 under. I made a 12 on that fucking hole. And I was so rattled. I don't think I broke 80 at that point. And
how sick was that rendition of that course? I mean, you guys have never played Garden City, but doesn't that make you want to go play the Garden City Golf Club?
Yes.
Love that first hole. It's like a drivable par 4. What a great start to a round.
Oh, and he totally got the 18th green, like the whole scene there where the patio is right on the 18th green and it's connected to the putting green, the practice putting green. So like on a busy summer Sunday afternoon at the Garden City Golf Club, when there's a lot of big wigs sitting there drinking their Arnold Palmers and their transfusions, and there's no cell phones, and they're wearing their suit jackets, and you're on the 18th green as a guest, and you're on the 18th tee, and you have this long par 3 with nasty bunkers and water in front, and you're like, oh boy, like if I just hook this even 10 yards to the right, I took out the CEO of like Warner Brothers. Like, I don't know, like I'm done. Like I'm just a fucking pizza maker.
For a lefty, that's tough because like your pole goes longer. So if you hook one, you're gonna murder somebody in the clubhouse.
And then it's like if you're a guest and those like walking on eggshells type feeling, you walk up there and everyone's looking at you. Who brought this guy? It's a nightmare of a place, but also awesome. So, but the guy really built that really well. But anyway, so we're playing it and we're getting to like 8, 9, 10 o'clock.
And important. Hold on.
I said in the beginning of the day, I know what you're gonna say. I said that I was not getting off this stream until we got 1,000 likes on the YouTube video, which is a lot for a live stream. We've done a shit ton of them. We get like 800 to 700 viewers live, whatever it is, like 1,000 viewers, and we'll get like 200, 300 likes because like it's the same viewers for the whole time. So you're not getting more people to like it. And for some reason, the algorithm, it makes more people watch it when you like it, whatever. It's just like more activity on the video. So I said I wasn't getting off. Trent, what from your point, what would you say happened right after? So we started to approach 1,000 likes. It was like 7 hours into this thing. And then what happened?
All right. So what happened was, we're playing alternate shot, having a good time, love doing the streams. We're grinding to 1,000 likes. Like we have been on for 6 or 7 hours and we are begging for likes so we can get off. And we're playing alternate shot, which is 9-hole matches. It's me and Frankie against two random people, even doing two random stoolies. It's a lot of fun. It's really the most fun you can have in the game.
Two
So
random stoolies
we're
from
finally-
the YouTube chat. So for anyone listening,
Yeah.
when you join our chat, we're playing people from the chat, alternate shot, a lot of fun. But yes, we're on like the 16th hole, I think, on the back 9 of this match.
Right. So we've got like just a couple holes left. We've just hit the 1,000 like threshold. We're like, all right, we're going to get out of here. And I say on the stream, if we can get to 2,000 likes by the end of this current match that we are in, we will stream for 24 hours, which at that point would have been like 17 more hours on the stream. And I said that because I knew that there was no way in the world that we were going to get 1,000 more likes over the course of the next 3 holes. That's going to take like 5 minutes. Like there's no way that's going to happen. And guess what? It doesn't happen. But we end the match on a tie. And we don't like to end on ties. We like
because
to end on
Trent, but no, and also Trent hit a 85-foot slider bomb to push the match. So I was like, well, now that match is not really over. Like we just played 9 holes. We have to play a new one. Like if we lost, you could make the argument that match was over. We pushed a 9-hole match. We had to play a new 9. Trent hit the biggest shot of his 2K career out of nowhere. It was like a 75, 80-foot hurl in basketball at the buzzer just for no reason, and Trent drained it. Little did he know that was going to keep him on that game until 5:45 in the morning.
I certainly did not know that. So, all right. So now we move on. I agree to play another match, but I say, if we're going to do this now, it has to be 3,000 likes, not 2,000 likes, because I know in the back of my head, and I just know generally, we work for a company that has very influential people on the internet. I know that one retweet will make this thing blast off. But then as I'm explaining that I need it to be 3,000 likes now to stay on for 24 hours as opposed to 2,000, I see Frankie Borelli, chipping away at his keyboard, and I know that he's tweeting something, and I don't know what it is. So then he finally puts the tweet out. I wish I had pulled it up right now. Hold on. I'm actually going to do that right now. I'm going to pull up this tweet because it is it's the biggest misrepresentation of what we had going on in that stream I could ever imagine. I'm scrolling down. I'm looking. There's Butters Bay picture. It's a beautiful picture. Still scrolling. This is great podcasting right now. I know.
Okay.
Hold
People
on.
are waiting there. You're edging them.
All right, I got it.
All right.
Yeah.
Frankie Borelli tweets at 10:28 p.m. He says, we're on a 7-hour PGA stream. We have 1 match left. Barstool Trent said if our video gets to 2,000 likes by the end of the match, he will stay on the stream for 24 straight hours. I think it's impossible, but it could be possible. We'll see. That is such a gross misrepresentation of what we had going on, because at that point, I had agreed to 3,000 likes by the end of the next match, and I'll stay on for 24 hours because I knew that wasn't going to happen. Again, a match is 9 holes. It takes like 20 minutes, and we're just never going to get there. But Frankie even putting that tweet out and knowing who follows him and knowing that we have very powerful and influential people at this company who can just throw out a retweet and people are just going to flood in there. And guess what happened? The first person who is now on my shit list is Marty Mush. He retweeted. He was the first person to do it. And then wouldn't you know it, Chaps retweets it. Nate retweets it. And I'm watching Frankie's tweet like a hawk. I'm looking at the retweets.
Bro, I don't know if we could put in the audio. I almost threw up. I was like, I don't think I've ever laughed so hard for so long. I legitimately almost passed out because Trent was like, I'm not sitting here for 24 hours. And on my screen, I had the live footage of what was happening on YouTube. The likes were exploding. It went from 1,000 to 1,100, 1,200, 1,300. It was crazy. And then Big Cat retweets it. The main account retweets it. Coley starts putting it on Instagram. It was like, dude, it got 3,000 in a matter of 20 minutes. It was crazy. That's my point. I know I sandbagged you and wrote the wrong thing, but it was going to get – if I wrote 10,000, it was going to get 10,000. People wanted to watch you suffer. And little did they know that I was staying with you because I didn't really write that in the blog, in the tweet. Anyway – we end up having to stay on, and we end up making a bunch of little caveats because we just didn't want to stay on for 24 hours. So we're like, all right, if we'll stay on for 24 hours or if we hit a hole-in-one, whichever comes first. Because we've never made a hole-in-one in PGA, ever. It's impossible. And we were going to play matches, like, against people. So we started out like idiots playing alternate shot for the first, like, 4 hours of this thing. Like, literally into hour 13 of our fucking match. of our stream. We're playing alternate shot 9-hole matches on full golf courses with like par 4s, par 5s. So we're like, they're never going to get a hole in one. We have half the chances, and we only have 2 par 3s a match, and one of us is only taking a shot on each one. So then we ended up going to just me and Trent match play on a par 3 course. We must have tried that for 3 hours.
It was really funny because as soon as it became confirmed that we were going to be on there for 24 hours, I was like, if we get a hole in one, let's end the stream. And Frankie was nervous about that because he's like, I don't want to do too many caveats. I don't want it to seem like we're trying to get out of this 24-hour stream. Fast forward to 3 hours later, it's what Frankie's saying. We're no longer playing alternate shot. We're playing each other. We each get a shot, and we're playing par 3 courses over and over and over again. Because anyone who has ever decided to stay up all night, once you pass that threshold, at 3 a.m., the charm starts to fade very, very quickly. Like all the people who were there 5 hours ago being like, you're going to be on for 24 hours. That's going to be great. Their heads are hitting the pill because they're living a normal life. Then they don't have to be on here for 24 hours. So we started to inject all of these caveats so we could get the hell out of there. But even that didn't work for like 6 hours. We were still on there.
It really didn't work. I think I did the hours wrong when I was just explaining it. Like we were on the par 3 courses for 4 to 5 hours, and there was no chance of us ever getting off. Like there was still wind. It was still 145 yards. We were playing the Wednesday par 3 course at Augusta for hours, and the holes were insane. Water, wind, 18-mile-an-hour wind. We just never were going to get it. Luckily, we had a couple misses where we hit the pin. Trent hit the bottom of the cup at one point and it popped out. It was electric, but we ended up fucking getting it on the 9th hole at the par 3 course at Augusta National. We had this little bank. Trent just skimmed by it. I knew the shot. It was like a 100-yard pitch shot. I ended up just fucking getting it behind the pin. It rolls back. 2K is such a realistic video game with the way the ball moves and all of like the aerodynamics and the greens and the slopes. Like everything's fucking so realistic that we knew we had a chance when it hit the green because it checks up like a real golf ball and slowly comes back to the hole. The game's incredible, and it was so much fun. We ended up getting off at like 5:30 in the morning. I
want to give a shout out to the people who stuck around. At 5 a.m., we had 1,500 people watching us.
Yeah.
Waiting for us to get a hole in one.
From 10 o'clock at night to 5 a.m., we never went below like 1,400 people.
How many food orders did you put in during that?
We each ate dinner on the stream. We both got Chinese food, and that was it. After that, we were just – I had a couple spring rolls that were left over that I was munching on around 3 a.m. Robbie Fox, my roommate, bless his heart. He's got to deal with me now staying up all night. The walls in our apartment are paper thin, and I'm just yelling about hole-in-ones, like hoping they go in. He got cookies at like midnight that he was like, if you want some of those cookies, you can have some of those. I had a couple of those for like a sugar rush, but it was –
That's the worst part is we weren't prepared, man. Like,
right.
And we can get off this because we fucking did it for 14 hours. We don't have to keep talking about it. But like, we weren't prepared. I didn't have snacks. I didn't have waters. I was just like, yo, I'm just going to do this. I hopped on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was still on at 3 o'clock in the morning, and there was no end in sight. So we went from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 5:30 in the morning the next day. It was a long stream. And I'm not ruling out we're going to do that again. I'm not ruling out that I'm going to do that again. I may inflict the hole-in-one challenge multiple times. I'm not going to say when we're going to do it, but I may just do it again because it's fun.
I'm down to do it. There were moments where Cranky Frankie came out. It was 2 or 3 in the morning.
Well, how would you not? I mean, it's one of those things that always sounds easier now than I'm sure it is in the moment. I mean, I'm sure in the moment it sucked.
Dude, at one point, Trent just wasn't doing anything with his shots. He wasn't shaping them. He wasn't putting backspin on them. He wasn't putting loft on the club. And that was like cute and funny at first. And at like 4 o'clock in the morning, when there was literally no end in sight, Riggs, like we were like, we're not getting a hole in one. There's no chance. Like we will be here until 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Right.
Because like no matter how many caveats you add, the ball still has to go in the hole. I don't care.
Which it never has. You guys
it never has once. And Trent was just missing the green every single time. And at one point, like I forgot I was even on camera. I'm like, Trent, just fucking figure it out. Like try. Like, are you putting spin on the ball? Like, what the fuck are you doing? I was so mad.
At one point, there's obviously the chat's going crazy the whole time. And at one point, somebody says, "Oh boy, Frankie's about to hurt some feelings."
I was just like, Trent, are you trying to get the ball in the hole right now? Because I've been on here since 3:00 in the afternoon. Like, I don't know if you want to stay here all day, but you're not even trying right now.
Here's the last
he
thing
wasn't
I'll
even
say.
trying.
We got it done. It was great. It was a great moment. I was in bed 10 minutes after we did it. But my Sunday, it did not exist. That day did not exist. I slept all day. I'm 31 years old now. I just cannot be staying up all night. My Whoop, I had 4 naps on my Whoop. It was just nap, 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 nap. And like, I was talking to Hubs about it. Like, there's 2 days in my life that have never existed. The day we traveled to Australia, because it was just 24 hours of flights. And then yesterday also didn't exist because I woke up. I went to bed at 5:30. I woke up the first time at noon. I wandered around. I think I may have gotten something to eat. I fell asleep for a few hours, woke up for a couple minutes, fell asleep again. Next thing I knew, it was 11 p.m. My Sunday, it's just a lost day. That day didn't exist.
My Whoop was a 63 recovery, actually. Somehow, some way. I thought it would be like a 2.
That's not bad. Alcohol kills you more than anything. So as long as you weren't boozing, you were just kind of streaming. That's probably, and like I wonder what your actual strain level was from something like that. Because even though you're not moving, you're just sitting on your ass. Like, there's a lot of stress. You're yelling at Trent. You're asking him what the fuck he's doing. You're seeing if he's even awake still. So I'd be curious.
It was a 5.5 day strain, which is super low, but like
terrible.
That's really bad. Yeah.
The first time I felt normal since Saturday morning was this morning, Monday morning. I got a coffee and I finally felt normal. Yesterday, I was just in a fog, a phase, and a daze. I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Well, look, we're gonna do a lot more live streams. Very heroic effort from you guys. We will, of course, be playing 2K. We've got over 100,000 followers in the society, so great work, and a big thanks to everybody who joined. Whoop, actually, we're mentioning Whoop. Whoop has their best offer of the year right now. If you join Whoop today, you join for $0 when you sign up for their 6-month membership. You just go to whoop.com. It's WHOOP.com. Check it out. You're going to sleep better. You're going to recover faster and train smarter this season and beyond with Whoop. So you go to whoop.com, get the 6-month plan, and it's just $0 to join. I saw Whoop was tweeting earlier another case of a guy who I believe he got tested for COVID and came back negative 3 times in the span of the same week. And then at the end of the week, he saw a massive outlier in his resting heart rate and went and got tested again and tested positive. And he had been quarantining and not going out for those few days because he saw some irregularities. Otherwise, he would have gone out. They would have had to do contact tracing. He would have clearly infected other people. But instead, because of Whoop, he just didn't. So the thing's great. The technology's phenomenal. PGA Tour procured over 1,000 of them due to the same exact reasons with Nick Watney, with the capability of the Whoop to be able to detect COVID symptoms with your respiratory rate and obviously optimize yourself for all kinds of different things, improving your body, improving your performance, your daily strain, how well you're recovered and able to take on that strain, all that good stuff. So whoop.com, choose the 6-month plan, and boom, you get $0 charged when you join right now. So go to whoop.com. Okay. Victor Hovland won. He's got a couple PGA Tour wins, 23 years old. He's young. He's part of that young crew. It's like him, Matt Wolff, Colin Morikawa, where they've all just in the last couple of years really exploded on the PGA Tour. They've each got a couple, tournament wins. They've got they've skyrocketed in the world rankings, and we've got Hovland out there who he's such an interesting cat. Like he's always smiling. He's got that look on his face. He was like commenting how bad he was hitting it, yet he won the fucking golf tournament with a sick birdie on the last hole. So he's just when he won last time, he won in his post round, which I think Frankie gets tagged in this all the time, where he was just like, I suck at chipping. And like, he just like, he has these little comments, super likable guy. And anytime you kind of get this young crop, mention those 3 guys, but there's more than just them, log in another win, it adds to their experience, confidence, pedigree going forward. And, we talk all the time about how young Matt Wolff is, but like Hovland, 23 years old and got another win on tour.
Yeah. Go Pokes first off. And, I just got to get that out of the way. Go Pokes. Love the Pokes. I get tagged in Victor Hovland posts like crazy. Do people think I look like him? It's everyone on the internet thinks I look like him. I get when he won yesterday, my little like comment thing on my Instagram was like 100+. And it was just comments of like, is that Frankie Borrelli, of him holding the trophy? It was I've never really gotten tagged that much. Usually it's when his chipping video goes viral. But yeah, those are the things that I took away from that. You know, the Sunday had a pretty good crew coming down the end. You had Tony Finau, you had Victor Hovland, JT was in the mix. Like, it was a pretty good group coming towards the end. And Hovland just was nails, man. Like, he made 9 birdies, I think, on Saturday, which is just an outrageous number of birdies. And he just he followed it up on Sunday. And an interesting thing that he said, aside from him talking to his caddy on 17, I think it was, where he was like, I'm just hitting the ball like shit. When he was done, he told the reporter, like, I'm just not good at closing out. Like, I feel like I get too nervous. Like, I'm not good in those situations at all, which is crazy to me that, like, he's so aware of, like, oh man, like, you know, I if I'm going to be this great fucking golfer and like all time great and whatever these guys aspire to be, like, I need to have this like killer instinct. And I clearly don't right now. He's probably feeling his heart in his throat. He probably feels super nervous, but the fact that he still drains the birdie and gives a little fist bump shows that he has the skill. It's probably just all in his head. Like, I need to just fucking figure out that I'm here. I'm supposed to be here. Dude, I saw a tweet yesterday. Hovland, Wolf, and Morikawa were all in college last year, and now they're all in the top 15.
Yeah, probably early. Yeah, because I guess they would have been spring of last year. They would have all been still in college.
So last year, in the last year, they were all in college, and this year, right now, they were all in the top 15 in the world.
That's
so
sick.
What does that say about golf in general, though? That, like, I mean, like, the young kids are just dominating? Is that just where it's gone to now? Like, that definitely wasn't the case for the last 40, 50 years, right? Kids coming out of college, 3 kids in the top 15, go from college to the top 15. That has to be like an anomaly, right?
Having 3 of them is extremely rare, but like, think about what, like, Jordan Spieth, when he came on the scene, like, he came in like a fucking wrecking ball, and he just started hold out at the John Deere. Shout out to Trent. And then from that moment on, like, over the next year, he like wins the Masters. He's winning all these tournaments. He's just and then, like, but JT, I feel like JT took a little longer. He wasn't quite as young when he kind of had his breakout year. But yeah, I mean, it's rare to have 3, I would say. You get 1 occasionally, but to have 3 that are kind of the same class, same age, came out on tour at the same time, and all be that successful is extremely rare.
What do you guys think about that Mayakoba trophy?
It's the worst trophy ever. It's the worst trophy ever. And I know our guy Pat Perez won it, but, like, it's embarrassing to have a picture with that thing. Like, the difference between that and wearing the green jacket is astonishing. Now, I'm not taking anything away from winning a PGA Tour event. Like, that's a fucking sick accomplishment. Shout out Pat Perez. That's amazing. But they need to give you a better trophy for how cool of an accomplishment it is my point. Like, this is you need to have a better trophy for that. You can't have your guy up there with this lump of shit, whatever he's holding. It's like a snail. Is it a snail?
No, it's like a lizard. It's like a lizard.
It's a lizard
with a wrapped up tail. That's the snail thing you're getting.
It's a joke, is what it is. I make better trophies for my fake majors on PGA Tour 2K.
Yeah, like my buddy's Ryder Cup trips, every one of them has a better trophy than that.
I don't care what the significance is. I don't care that it's Mexico. They probably have a ton of lizards. I don't give a fuck. Come up with a cooler trophy.
It looks like if you poured water on it, it would disintegrate.
Or change colors and
this
be
looks
like,
chalky.
Let me ask you this.
A lot of lizards?
I like lizards. Lizards are kind of cool. Let me ask you this. What can you do about just being nervous? Like,
I don't know.
On some level, it's just in your right? Like, you know, like DJ and like, I feel like there's certain guys who, not that they don't get nervous, but that it's very clear that they're just not like as affected as other guys. And shout out Johnny Miller would like always talk about nerves and now that's nerves. But it's a real thing. I mean, this last weekend I played out at Whisper Rock. We had Maury when he was on. Maury Povich was talking all about Whisper Rock, how cool it is. I was playing with our dude Todd Martin from Peter Millar, who's the fucking man, and a couple other guys that are like members up at Whisper. And I'm on the range. You know, I'm hitting it great. I hit like 10 drivers in a row, all great. Get to the first tee. And like, yeah, we do 2 off the first tee. I mean, I shank one right, just the worst. And then I just duck hook one left. And I'm walking off, you know, while it's somebody else's turn to hit. I'm just thinking in my head, like, boy, I was like shaking, just like being judged. And you people are like, oh, this golf guy does this and just hit horrible shots. And then the rest of the day I played fine. played pretty well, but it's like I was just super nervous on that tee. What can you do about that? Like there's just nothing you could do. Like if you're that nervous, you have to hit. You don't get like a timeout. You don't get like, oh, let me go back for 10 minutes. I'm going to take the next tee time and then I'll like catch it. No, it's just like you just have to perform. You can't feel your fucking body. Your extremities are off the track, and you just have to like try to now do this thing that we all talk about is already impossible. It's like, what can you do when
Dude,
you
I think like having the skill changes it immensely. So we get super nervous on the first tee because we have no idea what the outcome is going to be. So our level of nervousness is through the fucking roof because you're like, man, the odds of me embarrassing myself here are so high, as opposed to like Dustin Johnson's like, all right, yeah, this is a nerve-wracking scenario, but I know the odds of me making this putt or hitting this off the first tee at Augusta is no problem. Like absolutely no problem. I can do it in my sleep. Yes, it's probably a little nerve-wracking, but like, and not to fucking compare at all, but to compare to my life, when I step up to like a stage in this fake fucking band that we created, Pup Punk, and we're at Irving Plaza where Green Day signed the wall in the green room, and like fucking Billy Joel, whoever's playing at Irving Plaza in Manhattan has played there before, and we've never played a concert in our life. And we're walking onto the stage and a fucking spotlight hits me on the drum set. I'm like, okay, it's a little nerve-wracking. We got 1,500 people here and they're expecting to see a rock show, and I'm on the drum set. I have to produce the music. I was fucking nervous, man. I thought I was going to drop the sticks. But 10 seconds into it, I'm like, oh, wait, I've been playing the drums since I was 4 years old. I just know how to play the drums. Like, this is actually fun. So, like, you actually – now I want to do that. I can't wait to get back onto the stage because I think we can get better. We can do more shows. Like we can be a good cover band or whatever it is. Like I'm excited for it because I can go in my room right now and practice and I know I'm good at it. I'm not like that in golf. I don't have that confidence at all. I'm a joke.
That's a big part. I think that's what you said is a good point. Like the worst, it's all about what's the worst thing that can happen to you up here. Like when Justin Johnson steps up to a tee, the first tee at Augusta, like the worst thing that's going to happen is maybe he slices it into the rough or something. Like, but if we step up to a tee, the worst possible thing that can happen is anything. Like I could top this ball and it can go 2 inches. I can miss the ball completely. I can hit somebody and kill somebody with this ball. Like that's, I think, what brings the nervousness. And sure, part of it is how your chemical makeup. There's got to be something in Dustin Johnson where he is just flatline the whole time. Something about the chemicals in his brain where he's just like, I just don't get that nervous. And he is, 1 in a billion in that way. But it also goes back to what Frankie's saying, where the worst thing that can happen to us is far, far worse and far, far more embarrassing than the worst thing that can happen to Dustin Johnson. And that does come from practice and playing and doing as much as you can. But there is just a part of it where it's your chemical, it's your brain makeup, where you're going to be fucking nervous no matter what.
Like, I think DJ may get more nervous for, like, national interviews where he has to sit down and do an interview on a camera because he's not as, like, formal and he's not as, like, articulate with the way he speaks. Like, I watched him. He was on whatever that show was that was going viral of him wearing the green jacket. It was, like, ESPN or whatever. And he was, like, nervous. He, like, couldn't even answer the questions. Like, how are you feeling? He's like, good. Like, I think in his brain, he's like, fuck. Like, right. I'm on fucking TV. Like, the worst that I could do is make a fool out of myself up here. And then he doesn't want to do that. But when he's on the golf course, he's, like, cool as a cucumber because he doesn't fucking care.
I think it was Walker Buehler on our show who said he described nerves and nervous levels in such an articulate and profound way that I'd never heard before, where he essentially was like, my nervousness is not determined by like total amount of nervousness. It's the difference between skill level and total nervousness related to that situation. So he was like, in pitching, yeah, I might be 10 times more nervous taking the mound in the World Series, but I'm also 200 times more skilled than I am at golf. So I'm actually not nervous because the difference is like, it's net positive to my skill level, where when I step on the tee for golf, he's like, I'm maybe, 1x as nervous as I am, but I'm also 0x skill. So I'm very nervous. So right. I think like if you calculate it that way, it's very interesting. And you're 100% right. Like if I have like the one skill that I think I'm pretty good at comparative to my other skills in golf is like putting. So if I have like a 6-foot putt to win a match or something, I'm actually just not that nervous because I'm confident that like I can put a good stroke on it. And like if I read it right, it should just go in. Whereas I just miss fairways and miss the golf course with a driver in my hands all the time. So now you're putting me on a tee and I'm really nervous. and I have to do this skill that I don't have very often. How the fuck am I going to have it right now? Then it goes way out of play, and then you're thinking about the worst thing that could happen, and then it's just over. Now it's like, well, now I'm fucking really embarrassed guy standing on the side of the tee, and I wish we weren't even out here right now. Fucking, and then you have to do it 17 more times.
Correct. And yeah, and that happens to us because we're on fucking video filming ourselves because we just do these golf videos. So that happens to us for 18 straight holes. It's not like you at Whisperock where you just have to get off the first one. This happens to us for all 18. I know. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people, over 1 million people watch us play kids, and I hit the ball into the fucking pond on one, and no one's ever hit the ball on the pond on one in their entire life at that golf course, and everyone's watching me do that. Yeah, I wish that didn't happen, but I'm not that great at golf, and I get nervous when there's fucking cameras on me, and they're nonstop on us.
I wonder which came first for Dustin Johnson. Did he realize, like, has he always been this cool, calm, and collected, and he realized that when he is in these high pressure spots, he's just like, oh, I don't get nervous? Or is it because he's had this skill for so long and that's where the calmness comes from? It kind of becomes like the chicken and the egg thing. Like, well, I wonder which one it is.
He's also blown it.
What does that mean, by the way? What's that chicken?
He's blown golf tournaments before. Like he at Pebble Beach, he was a train wreck. He shot like 81 when he was leading the U.S. Open by 3 shots. So like, I think probably it is earned. Like being experiential is like, you've been there. If you've been there 4 or 5 times, then by the 6th time, you're probably like, well, actually, I already shot fucking 80-something at Pebble Beach. So it's like, how nervous, like Rory. Rory shot 80-something when he was leading the Masters. And then a couple months later, he went and dominated the U.S. Open. So it's like, on some level, yeah, I don't know. It's like, if I knew the answer, then I just wouldn't be nervous on the first tee anymore.
Right.
But I don't, and I'm fucking shaking, even though nobody cares. Like, nobody in the group cares where my ball really goes. Realistically, I don't even care. If it goes out of play and I make double, it's like,
dude.
like who cares where my ball? It's like, doesn't really matter. But also in my whole body is shaking, so clearly it fucking matters. So it's just it's so infuriating that happens, and there's no way to control it. Like when you're just that nervous, it's over. Like you can't. There's not a fucking poem you can hum to yourself and like get over it. You're just fucked.
I remember, I used to hate public speaking. I used to hate giving speeches in class. Like, it was my biggest fear by far. Like,
I used to poop his pants a little bit up there.
What?
You used to get a little poopy pants up there?
No, I just used to, I just remember, the nights before, I would be freaking out thinking about having to stand in front of a group of people that I know and giving a speech. Now it sounds crazy because we do this podcast for a bunch of people, but that's different. I'm not looking at the people we're talking to right now, and I said it on the last show, where if I start to think about how many people I'm speaking to right at this very moment, I get very nervous, and I would feel that way about speeches. And I remember the night before a speech, I was practicing, and it was back when I was still living at home, and I remember telling my mom, I wish I could just not be nervous. I just want to not be nervous. And she's like, yeah, everybody feels that way. There's no way to get rid of it, like you're saying, Riggs. As much as you tell yourself, I wish I just couldn't be nervous right here. Your body takes over and it fills you with fear, and it's a horrible feeling.
Yeah, think about what happened when Tiger Woods asked you where you were stationed.
That's exactly it. I think
you're like, no, I know how to speak. I'm aware of how to respond to a question that's asked, but I just can't do it.
No one's ever shown the expression of confusion more than that picture that gets filtered around of Trent not knowing where he's stationed. It's literally like,
what's the chemical that makes you nervous? Is it cortisol? Is that shoots through your body when
it sounds like something that fucking de-ices my windows on my car.
I could be very wrong about that, but I think.
Trent, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
You mentioned the chicken or the egg. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
I saw you furiously Googling that as we were talking about something else.
It's a dilemma. It's a dilemma. They state it as a dilemma.
What is it? It's a philosophical dilemma. Or you think about when you think about chickens and eggs, where do those come from, and which came first?
Which came first, right? Is it the chicken or the egg? Now, fuck my face, man. What is it?
I'm gonna say egg.
Right. That's but then all chicken eggs come from chickens is the dilemma. All chicken eggs come from chickens.
Not this one. I think this one.
Yeah.
I don't know what it came from, but I'm gonna say something. A chicken didn't just appear. It didn't
Right. I know that's the dilemma. No one knows.
How the fuck would a chicken just appear? How would it just appear? It can't appear.
How so? And I'm not going to get crazy on this, right? Because then religion comes into this and science and all this stuff. But you can talk about you believe in God or science and all this stuff. I always just say, whatever you believe in, where did that come from? Right? Like, there had to have been a beginning to whichever belief you have. And I'm not opening this up to fucking people tweeting at me and DMing me about their fucking beliefs about the universe. But my whole point's like, all right, like Big Bang, like, but where'd that little speck of dust come from, right? There's always, where'd the nothing come from? So I don't want to think about it because it keeps me up at night. It honestly ruins my life, like my enjoyment of this earth right now.
Let me ask
No,
you this.
I don't care.
The universe, right? We're all in the universe.
Yeah.
What do you, like, at some level, the universe can't just go on. Like, it just can't. So, like, what is at the edge? Is it just like a drywall that's like the border of the universe? Like, what do you?
I don't want to think
It's
about
like-
what
No,
forever
think about
means.
that.
Like, they're
what is
saying
it?
it's just like forever.
But it can't just
When
be forever. What do
Jim
you mean?
Carrey, Jim Carrey, like when in the Truman Show, when Jim Carrey's boat hits the
Yeah.
side of the world, is that what it is?
Right. That.
And also, people say it goes on forever. Yeah, people say it goes on forever. Like, they don't know that at
People
all.
say. What do you mean? People say. What?
People, people not only do they say it goes on forever, but they say it's continually expanding. Like it's still shooting outwards right now.
So what is it shooting out into?
Right. What was there before it expanded into that area, Trey?
What is it shooting out into? Is it like creating nothingness?
It's hilarious that you're directing this question at me when I don't know.
Is it so? Like, think about like a visual representation of what we're talking about, whichever scale you want, right? It's expanding. What is it expanding into? Like, if you have a visual representation of that, there are walls on the side, and it would actually push the walls back, right? Like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's got to expand into something. It can't just expand into nothing. And what is nothing? What is the thing that's there, dude?
Let me ask you.
There's a YouTube, and I want to. I love YouTube. YouTube's a good thing.
I do.
But
I like YouTube. YouTube's sweet.
Go subscribe to Foreplay on YouTube. Get us to 100,000 subscribers. That would be awesome. If everyone that listened to this show went, like, that's like got to be. We have hundreds of thousands of people that listen to this show. If everyone right now on your app went to YouTube and hit subscribe, we should get to 100,000. We need like 8,000 more. Like, if you listening to this actually did that, that would be a pretty cool representation of how many people we actually have that are like competent human beings that are listening to what we're saying and just like help us out with a follow. So that's pretty cool. The second thing is that there are these CGI guys, and I think I told you this. Robbie Fox told me that the fucking Robbie Fox told Trent, who told me, that the Polar Express was all filmed by Tom Hanks. Basically, he was like the children, so that's why their facial expressions are weird, because they didn't know. And I'm now on that mountain where I forgot why I was bringing this up.
Yeah,
there was something about the CGI. So I know. Anyway, there's this YouTube page, and there's CGI guys watching like bad CGI, and they're like critiquing it. They get millions of views. And there's this one video where they actually show how small we are by using like their CGI. And like they said, everyone always says like we are 10,000th the size of the sun, whatever it is, right? They said that we are a tennis ball, and they were comparing a tennis ball to other stars that we know of, right? So when you say that we are a tennis ball, the biggest star compared to a tennis ball was bigger than Manhattan, right? So we are on Earth. Earth is massive. A tennis ball, there's a star out there, which is like the sun, that's bigger than Manhattan.
Let me ask you this. When you hear that, does that scare you, or does that give you comfort?
That scares the living shit out of me.
Because there is a thought that, and I think I feel this way, where when they'll do like a zoom out, where it's like there's the Milky Way, and then there's all these other galaxies, and there's all these other galaxies, thinking that we're just like a speck in the middle of this gigantic.
And that we matter at all? That's crazy.
Right. That's what it is, where it's like we all freak out, all of us, about little things going on in our lives, where it's like, I got to get this done. We got to do this video. We got to do this podcast. We got to get this interview. And then if you just zoom out, you are just like this little tiny thing where it literally does not matter.
Let me ask you this. If Earth were the size of a tennis ball, how far away do you think the closest star is to Earth outside of our own star? So Earth is the size of a tennis ball. The closest other solar system and star, how far away do you think that is on this scale?
So I put a tennis ball on like a street.
It's like how many feet, miles? What do you think?
Yeah,
He's rubbing his eyes right
it's gotta be over a mile, right? Like I'm trying, like a tennis ball and then a mile away would be so fucking far. It would blow your mind how far that is. That would blow your mind how far a mile is from a tennis ball.
Wait till you hear this, Frankie. 890 miles away.
That's so far. That's so far.
That's like,
and we'll never get
like the middle of the country. That's where like Tennessee is from where you are.
We will never ever. That's why aliens will never find us in our life. Like, we haven't been around. Like humans with brains haven't been around long enough for the time window for aliens to have come here at our time. Maybe billions of years ago, but like it's too far, man. Too far.
I do think if you tweak your view on it a little bit, you will begin to find comfort in that. Like I think you can take a deep breath, and just think like it's fine. Like this, we are just a pin size in the middle of a fucking ocean. It's fine.
Bro, I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with any of this, bro.
Jake Bass, which big thanks to Jake and Bug as always. Jake Bass just said, "Y'all are giving me severe anxiety right now."
Debbie Downer over there.
Oh, one of the great memes. Our little go-to private meme is maybe the thing I get the most enjoyment out of whenever it comes across my cell phone.
Yeah, we've memed. Well, actually, Jake memed himself because we asked him, because he's the graphic guy for the podcast. So I asked him to make a meme of himself as Debbie Downer, because every time we have something, oh, we're going to shoot this, he's like, well, there's like whatever X amount of pollution in the air, and we shouldn't be flying the plane because that actually. It's like, oh, okay, well, it's literally a Debbie Downer scene where I think Justin Timberlake's in it, but they're at Disney, and like Pluto comes over and like, hi, Pluto, and she's like, 1 in 4 mascots actually suffer from heat stroke. And everyone's like, what the fuck? She's like, we're in Disney. It's the #1 terrorist site in the world. They're like, Debbie, shut the fuck up.
Buzz Killington from Family Guy is another one.
Yeah.
Shows up, he's got the fucking eye spectacles and top hat. And he shows up and kills all the jokes.
Yeah. What's that, Buzz Killington? Yeah.
Buzz Killington, yeah.
What a name.
Buzz Killington's such a good one. Think your business is too small to offer a 401k? Guess what? It's not. Guideline. We're here to talk about Guideline. Oh. Guideline provides easy and affordable 401k plans for small businesses and startups. You can get set up in as little as 10 minutes. Guideline handles the admin, compliance testing, record keeping, and investment management. So you might be out there, again, thinking that your business can't handle it. It's too complex. Your business is too small to offer 401k. You would be wrong, and the answer would be Guideline. Over 13,000 companies use Guideline to manage their 401k for a limited time and for eligible employers only. If you go to guideline.com/foreplay, tell them you came from Foreplay, you can get a $100 gift card if you do not currently offer a 401k plan for your employees when you start your 401k plan with Guideline. Again, that is guideline.com/foreplay. Get yourself a 401k for your business. Don't forget, that's guideline.com/foreplay. Tell them Foreplay sent you. What an interesting show. We've gone down quite the rabbit hole right now.
I have a question that could probably keep going on this, but we were talking about Dustin Johnson. We were talking about, the nerve system. We were talking about Victor Hovland. I got into a little conversation over the weekend with KFC. We were watching the movie. I was watching the movie Whiplash for like the 100th time. It's my favorite movie of all time. J.K. Simmons, Miles Teller, the best acting in a movie from an original script of all time. Trent heard a lot about this on our 14-hour stream the other night, so I'm not going to get him in on this or get going on it. And KFC watch it. For anyone that doesn't know, J.K. Simmons is this conductor for a music group at this Schaefer incredible school in New York City, and he pushes people to the level that like some of them kill themselves, and like he's a fucking dick when it comes to fucking teaching and all this stuff. And he's like, and KFC texted me, he's like, is that what it takes to achieve greatness? And I responded by saying, like, I don't know that that's the answer. And I think that a lot of people take that route. If you take two people, not in music, but like in golf, right? And I used the example of Kevin Kisner and Tiger Woods. And this is no knock on Kevin Kisner. We're going to hopefully have him on the show later. But Kevin Kisner and Tiger Woods are both professional athletes. They both reached the level that they both needed to reach to achieve their goal. One person took it the normal, quote unquote, route where he just, worked hard at his craft. He has a good skill, but he's able to have like a family and normal parents' life and wife and kids, and he can drink beers and watch Georgia football and fucking be a normal human being and be able to text Riggs like, oh, these fucking guys or whatever, and be one of the boys. The other guy is the most polarizing character in the history of sports. He was listening to war tapes at the age of 3 years old on how to be a murderer on the golf course. His father would feed him to the sound of a golf ball every time that he hit it in his garage. He wouldn't shake hands after matches. He was taught to be an assassin, and he literally like exploded his personal life. He's not a real person, but he's also the greatest of all time. So like, what does it take to achieve greatness? Is it now, if you go through the list, like Michael Jordan, like is crying on an ESPN documentary about how he can't be a normal teammate because he needs to be this dick and this fucking asshole to get the best out of people so that he can achieve his greatness, because that's a team sport. So like, where do you draw the line? Can you achieve ultimate greatness by being a normal person? And I don't know if the answer is yes. I think the closest thing is Tom Brady, but he kisses his son on the lips. He's a fucking weirdo. Like, there's a lot of things that we probably don't know about Tom Brady, right? Like, he probably has murdered people. Like, we don't. I'm not saying like we don't know what Tom Brady does. He's very.
What an allegation to throw at Tom Brady.
That's not. I'm not gonna say. I'm just saying, like, who knows what Tom Brady's done to achieve his greatness?
Well, I think you're onto something. And if you think about Tom Brady aside, because I guess he is.
He is the outlier because he's normal.
Yeah, as normal as you can be at a guy at his level. But you also look at Michael Jordan. His life is. He's like a crazy person. Like, if you think about his Hall of Fame speech, when he was being inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, he has now reached the level. He's going to the Hall of Fame. He is, at that time, unanimously known as the greatest basketball player of all time. And if you go back and you watch that Hall of Fame speech, it is psychotic. He's still being like, I'm better. Why don't you guys put me up on this pedestal where I deserve to be? When he's up there. He's already up there. And his life is in ruins. Everybody who talks about, maybe it's not in ruins, but he has weird personal relationships with people because he is so competitive and he can't turn that thing off. But I do think it takes that to become the greatest of all time. I don't know if you can live and lead a normal life and reach the heights of a Michael Jordan and a Tiger Woods. I just don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, I think that you're right,
I
Frankie.
think Riggs froze on us.
I froze?
Back.
Am I back?
I got you.
You're back now. You're good.
I think you're both right. I think the answer is way closer to no. You can't achieve this ultimate greatness and be normal. It's way closer to no than it is to yes. And I would say that, like, when you, especially now, I mean, it wasn't always like this because media wasn't as constant. It wasn't as 24-hour. But nowadays, in the documentary with Jordan, like when they show him going to different countries, getting off a plane, walking out of his hotel, like literally cannot live a normal life in the sense that you can't go to dinner, you can't just go stop into a bar, you can't go out to the grocery store and just get groceries. So if you can't live a normal life, how are you going to turn out to be a normal person, right? Like your context and your sort of understanding of the world is created by having the same type of experience that everyone else has to a degree. And there's a certain echelon of people that don't have that fucking experience. Like they don't know what it's like. They can't converse and have the same conversations about stuff because they don't have those life experiences. Like they're just not, like we even talk about it at Barstool. If you were to boil it down, like Dave talks a lot about the people that at Barstool that have been most successful, like actually had other lives and careers, and they understand how awesome Barstool Sports working for is comparative to a lot of other companies, and therefore they're significantly more appreciative. And there's this, right? So it's like you could boil down to a lot of different things, and now you magnify that by 1 billion because you've got Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods. Like they have to be weirdos. Jordan saying, and his teammates even coming to his defense in Last Dance of like, no, he wasn't considered a nice guy by the teammates, but also like we didn't need him to be. We needed him to be who he was. Like he was a psychotic savage that drove his fucking teammates to be as badass and as good at basketball and at like winning championships as they could be. And that ain't going to be all like lollipops and fucking kumbaya. Like that's going to be miserable to a degree, but guess what? You're remembered as one of the great dynasties of all time. Your contracts when you re-sign or when you go off to another team, like you all are way richer because Michael Jordan was a little bit of a dickhead to you for 10 years. Like that's just kind of what it takes. And I think like a lot of the golf journalists too, like when Tiger came back in 2018, remember Trent, like we would talk about this all the time, how often guys like Rex Hoggard and these golf journalists that were around and Rich Lerner were like, Tiger just kind of has a smile on his face and he's kind of just like enjoying life and he's friends with Justin Thomas. And to some, like we would even chirp, we'd be like, that's not what I want to see. I want Tiger Woods to be what I want Tiger Woods to be. I don't need Tiger Woods to be a happy father. Like I need him to fucking murder people on the golf course. That's what I need. Like, I get that it's better for humanity probably if he's a different person and he's more well-rounded. But, like, in terms of when I turn on the TV and that fucking machine walks onto the first tee at Augusta National in a red shirt and black pants, like, I want him to be slitting people's throats. I want him to be looking at Tony Finau like, why are you talking to me, peasant? Like, I'm going to fucking cut your throat and shove your golf clubs down your fucking throat and defeat you right now. That's what I was born to do. And so it's like – it's tough, and I think that the answer is pretty much like no. There's going to be a few exceptions. Like you're right, Frankie. Tom Brady's a fucking weirdo. Of course he's a weirdo. Like and this is what we talk about with Jack Nicklaus all the time, where we have our little debates about Jack's rooting for Tiger. Like no, he's not. You don't become an 18-time major winner unless if you're just happy for everyone to have success around you. No, you're fucking not. So no, I don't think you can really be normal and be upper echelon of greatness. I don't think it's possible.
You do have to sacrifice a degree of happiness to reach those levels.
That was what I was going to say next is like, is it worth it? Because it's almost like Thanos in fucking Avengers, where it's like, what did it cost? And he says everything. He's tossing his daughter off of a fucking mountain to retrieve one of the stones that's going to make him the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? So it's like in this movie too, and that's what KFC said, like, was it worth it to go through fucking J.K. Simmons' bullshit for at the end? And I'm not going to spoil it, but like there's a moment where it's like, holy fuck, like Miles Teller, let's go. But like everything that led up to that moment, was that worth it? And the other thing is, do people get warped into this, like this circle, this never ending circle of like, and in the movie, I keep going back to the movie, J.K. Simmons is like, Charlie Parker got a fucking symbol thrown at his head. And then he spent the next summer working on his solo and came back with the greatest solo of all time. And now J.K. Simmons lives his life trying to find his Charlie Parker. He throws symbols at every single guy's head to find that guy. So it's like, is there a dad feeding his son right now to every hit of the golf ball? Because that's what Earl Woods did. And is that the correct way to go about achieving greatness?
I mean, probably not, no. But
you don't think so? I think there definitely are people that like learn from history in that aspect where they're like, yeah, I want the next Tiger Woods. I'm going to fucking do everything I can. This kid's going to listen to war tapes from the fucking whatever it was. Like
when we read the book with Tiger Woods' fucking face on it that we really haven't referenced.
What is that called? It's
what is that book?
It's a red book. It's got Tiger Woods' face on it. Armin Katayan, who is actually a guest of this show,
good guy, smart fella.
They're actually making a documentary, I think, on HBO about Tiger Woods based off of the Armin Katayan book, which I just don't know what the fucking name is.
Hey, Riggs, I've been listening to the show, and you guys have been talking about that book that kind of details the life of Tiger Woods, and I'm trying to find it on Amazon. What's the name of that? Do you know what the name of that book is?
It's Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods is the name. That's the name.
The book, Tiger Woods, we actually discussed at length, and we would go back and forth about, like, how sorry for Tiger you feel reading the book. And it's like, how could I have this sympathetic kick towards a man who's worth $1 billion, who everywhere he walks is, he's Jesus walking on water. When he walks to a golf tournament, like guys that are trying to beat him in the tournament are legit shaking and asking for pictures on the range next to him. Like, how could you feel bad for this man who can have pretty much anything that he wants? And it's like, well, he was just never given a chance to have a normal life. And Rory talks about it a lot, where Rory's like, would I trade, my career for Tiger's in order to have to trade my life for Tiger? I can't go out to dinner. It's like, no, I don't. I want to be kind of a happy, relatively normal person. So it is very, very, it'll forever be debated if it's right. Worth it or not. I think to like 99% of people, it's just not worth it. It's like, You know, I mean, look at like Steve Jobs. Like he was an asshole. Everybody talks about he was an asshole. And like down to like denying that he actually was the father of his daughter until later in life. And it's like these people that achieve this astounding level of greatness and admiration, like it comes at a serious sacrifice. Which is,
Tiger in a lot of ways now is living a second life. Like and I know, like Rick said, we used to always talk about like, no, I want him to be this assassin and this killer out there. But in reality, he's living a much healthier lifestyle now. At least all appearances would say that he's happier. He is smiling. He's friends with all the guys on the golf course. And he still was able to win the 2019 Masters. So if you maybe blend them a little bit better, obviously the first half of his life was insanity. And you can debate until the cows come home about, was that the right thing? Who was it right for? Like, yeah, he's listening to these war tapes and he's playing all this golf, and that maybe have been right for Earl Woods, but socially, it probably wasn't great for Tiger Woods, as we saw as his life continued to play out, where Tiger sometimes, and even still, he is putting on the appearances of a normal person when he's clearly really not. His mom was
writing notes to his girlfriend saying that they can't be together anymore.
Right. So his social interactions to this day sometimes are a bit strange and off, and I don't think that's ever going to go away. But at least now he's happy. He's spending time with his kids. He's still winning tournaments. His kids are getting to see him be this very successful and polarizing golfer without all of the craziness, which is nice to see to a degree.
I mean, we spoke to him for 90 seconds, and he asked Trent where he's stationed. Like, I don't want him to be a normal person. I don't want him to just be like, what's up, fellas? Where are you guys staying? You have this normal hotel? Like, we're having a normal conversation? No, he's like asking things that sent Trent's brain, to the edge of the fucking universe, which we don't even know what it consists of.
Has anyone ever asked Tiger Woods if it was worth it?
That'd be a great question to ask him when we get him on the show. Like,
you would ask Tiger Woods if all of this was worth it?
Absolutely.
Woo!
You don't think
you want to talk about? I know that is the question to ask. I'm just saying. You want to talk about nervousness? I'd be Frankie Poopy Pants sitting there next to you, being like, "Whoa, fuck."
You run the risk of him just being like, "Yes," and then like next question. But I think like he has to have thought about it all the time. Like
probably keeps him up. Yeah, it probably keeps him up. And it's like I could just like be the same person. Well, then he gets it's fucking. There's got to be some sort of complex, or some psychiatrist has definitely like broke this down to like the two variables. Like you get this, but you get this, and you get this, but you get this, and like which one are you choosing? I wonder what the world would say.
Well,
if
Tiger
told the world.
I that is the best question you can ask Tiger, but he probably says yes because he doesn't know any other way. So he doesn't know what the other side of that is. Is the other side of that like, oh, you live a normal life, you're a normal PGA Tour pro, you get a couple wins, maybe you win a major, but you live a pretty normal existence. Tiger doesn't know what that is, so he's unfamiliar with it.
But does he want to be just like a farmer in fucking, I don't know, Montana and just whatever? Oh, I should have said Iowa.
Yeah, big miss there.
That was a huge miss.
Because maybe I'm wrong, because his life has been so heavily scrutinized and it's been in the public eye since he was, a teenager, and even before that, obviously. Like he might be like, no, this shit, it was so crazy and it took such a toll on me that it was too crazy.
Well, maybe it's a question we could ask kids. We'll be like, what do you think? Because Kiz is sort of, you used him as the example. He's sort of the other guy. So the other end of the other side of the coin, I guess, in terms of what we're debating. So look, Kevin Kisner's coming up next. I got a nice new little toy that I used on the golf course this past weekend. It's the Bushnell Golf, the Wingman. This thing's great. It's got enough power to last up to 10 hours, giving you 36 holes of high quality audio and GPS distances. Here's how it works. It's a badass speaker. The thing is sick. Use the code ForePlay25 at bushnellgolf.com, and you're going to get $25 off when you spend $100 or more. But this thing is an awesome speaker, and then it gives you this little kind of ball marker size button that you put in your pocket, and you just hit the button at any point. Once you sync it up with the app to your phone, you just hit the button at any point, and it'll just give you, while still playing music or whatever, it'll just give you and say audibly the front, back, and middle to the green from wherever the fuck you are. So,
and is it accurate?
Oh, it's very accurate, especially when we were using it. That the first time I used it, the cart actually had one of the GPS screens in the cart too, and it had it to the pin. So you could just test and you could just hit it, and we were messing around with it. And it's just like, you know, I'm listening to like classic rock. I hit it, the music dims down a little bit, and then the guy just gives you like front, this, middle, that. And I'm just like, that's amazing. I didn't have to look at anything. I just hit a button in my pocket, and boom, the wingman just gives you the distance. It's amazing.
I like that a lot.
It's awesome. So go to bushnellgolf.com. Use the promo code 4play25. You're going to save $25 when you spend 100 or more. That's bushnellgolf.com. Promo code is 4play25, one word. Next up is our friend Kevin Kisner. What's up, Kiz? What are you doing? You hanging?
I'm trying to grind out these Steelers, but it's just not really working. About to go 0-4 on my picks in the last 2 days.
Is this is off-season Kiz we're seeing right now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just not working out. Alex Smith has one fucking leg, and his leg that is working is full of blood, and he's still just picking apart the 11-0 Steelers.
It's really amazing that Alex Smith played football. It's really one of the modern medical miracles that Alex Smith is still playing football.
Every time he runs,
1,000%.
Every time he runs, you like go, oh, you wince.
Yeah.
He should be comeback player of the century, not the year.
The comeback player of NFL history.
History. I'm down with that. And he's about to lead them back to beat the Steelers that are 11-0.
I don't get, like, at some point, and I understand, like, when you're a professional athlete, you want to, like, prove that you can do stuff, but he's made all the money he could possibly have, and they told him, like, he legitimately could never walk again if he gets hurt again. Like, why take that risk?
Yeah, like it's
a fire in your belly, man.
Yeah?
Is that fire in the belly worth just never walking again?
You can afford people to push you around.
I guess so.
But you don't have a ring. Just like you don't have a trophy, Frankie.
I don't have a trophy. I don't know why he picked me out of this whole crew. This trophyless crew.
You're the one I'm looking at. I'm not in gallery mode.
This trophyless crew, but I'm the one without a trophy. We couldn't be a more trophyless crew of all time. We were so jacked up, as we always are, for Augusta. And I remember seeing, like, you put up an Instagram story or something, like, at Augusta, and I said, how good is that place? Just like I wanted to talk to someone that was there. And you're like, it's really not that good right now. And I was like, how is that possible? Like, we didn't know any of this because obviously we didn't see any of it on TV yet. And then right when the first couple of groups started going, I'm like, fucking Kids was right, man. We're seeing brown. We're seeing mud balls. We were seeing slow greens. I'm like, it was like, I don't know. I just didn't like seeing it in that light. Like, was it that different being there? Was it the most different you've ever seen it?
1,000%. It was, the greens were about less than tour average, which is weird. And then it didn't help that the weather. It rained 2 inches on Thursday morning.
Right.
It probably would have been fine unless it rained that much. But I mean, that agronomy in that time of year, it just doesn't add up. I'm sure I didn't make the weekend, but I'm sure by Sunday when the wind started blowing 20 that it was closer to tournament conditions. And I going back to that, people don't talk about that wedge shot that Dustin hit on 15 on Sunday. I was watching that. That thing was a joke. If y'all ever go back to watch the Masters that Dustin won, he had like 100-yard wedge shot at that back pin on 15 in a 20-mile-an-hour wind and controlled a spin. That was sick. Got up and down.
Because a lot of guys suck. You can suck that off the front. That's when Sergio made his 13, right?
Yeah, and then if you one hop it over the back, it's auto bogey.
Well, Sanjay M made an unreal par save, if you remember that, because he was off the back of 15.
Yeah, from over
Buttery wedge. That was It was the softest hands I'd ever seen. We said this is an impossible chip before he made contact.
Because he made another one on 11 that I just couldn't believe either, and I was like, this guy's incredible. But then on 15, it was almost even more impressive back there.
That was the whole thing, like from the 12th hole, the view behind the 12th hole, that green just all week looked terrible.
It was. It was the worst green. It's always the worst green, but in November it was the worst green by far.
It looked like a muni. It looked so beat up.
It's like a foot slower and just straight mud. But it gets no sunshine from those trees behind it. But you can't change that because then it changed the whole complex of the hole.
Right.
So probably just reseed it every year or regrass it.
I loved when you guys started and you had the rain delay and you're just texting during the rain delay, and you're like, all right, I got 210 flag from the right rough. I got to hit it around a tree. What do you think the chances are I hit the green?
What are my odds on a green hit or par? Then when I hit the freaking green, I was so fired up. 3-putt. God dang. I hit a 7-wood, Ricky, from fucking – what did I tell you I was? Like 210 front?
You were like, yeah, because you said, yeah, it was like 210 front, and the pin was in the back, wasn't it?
No, it was in the front. So it was like 210, 217, and I wanted to hit 3-iron, but you get to go place your ball in the rough after the thing. So I like tried to perk it up on the grass, and it just settles down, of course. And then they blow the horn, and I'm like, Dewey, I can't hit a 3-iron out of there, right? And he's like, no, hit the 7-wood, which goes 245. So I have 217. I'm thinking, well, if I hit this good, it's going in the woods back there. By the way. I smoked it, dude. I smoked it. I hadn't hit a ball in 25 minutes. And I look up, I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's going in those woods by 11. And it hits the green. I'm like, yes. Bogey. Toast. 3-putt.
Dude,
I almost put it off the green. The
we were
greens were so slow. They were so slow. And so I told myself right before I putted, like, hit it really hard. It was like 50-footer. And I almost put it off the front of the green. If I'd done that, I would have made like triple.
Kill that fly.
Fly.
Trying.
So my buddy's in a big golf
See the
pool.
fly? Where's the
got
fly?
his ass.
Where's the fly at?
Hold on, let's try to kill that
Got
fly.
him.
Be focused again. Did you get it?
I got him.
Hell yeah.
Come on.
It's like the
That's-
fly episode of Breaking
Oh,
Bad.
You know,
Hold
You know-
on.
Kevin Kisner has left the frame, and we're gonna hear something break here real soon.
Lurch, was it you that taught the clap above the fly move?
Yeah, it's a huge
Right.
move.
Well, you're not saying you originated that, right?
Huh? No, I think I just taught this
No,
group
I
and then I
heard
got
it.
credit for it.
Do you know the key to killing a fly, Lurch? You gotta see where their eyes are looking and come from behind.
See where their eyes are looking. That's a little outrageous.
Yeah, so if they're facing that way, you gotta come from
Oh
that way.
yeah, I agree with that. Where the head's looking. I'm not looking at their eye. But then
But then my daughter told me that they have more than 2 eyes, which I'm not sure of. She's only 6, so that could be complete horseshit. She was helping me kill flies yesterday because we got this massive construction project at the house, and we've had the doors open. And she told me that flies can see in all directions, and I was like, well, I'm smoking them coming from the backside, so I don't know what you're talking about.
How was your year, kids? How would you rate your year? I mean, like weird, obviously, with Corona, but how would Kevin Kisner assess his 2020?
So I told my team in Detroit, which was maybe 1st of July, that I was going to make $3 million from there to the end of the calendar year, and I think I made 3.225. So I'd say yeah, it was solid.
How'd you come up with that number? You looked at the tournaments, the payouts, and saw
Looked at the
which.
tournaments, and I was pissed off about how bad I was playing. I knew I had a good stretch of tournaments. I knew I was going to play well at certain tournaments, and you got to set goals, man. Set goals, did it. Obviously, Sea Island pushed me over the top, but I was planning on playing better at the Masters.
Yeah, you have told me before, because I've been like, no, you usually play well at the Masters. Like, usually you finish top 20 or something, and you're like, dude, there's like 15 people that can make the cut, or that actually have a chance, because half of them are like 80-year-old past champions and shit. And then you
That's easy money normally.
yeah, right. At what point did you make that? Did you tell your team that?
Detroit, Rocket Mortgage Classic. I think that was about the 3rd or 4th tournament back from coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, because
Well, we seem to be in a worse pandemic now than we were then.
which is crazy. What's the
Crazy.
it's like we did everything. You know, people did the quarantine and the businesses shut down, and then now it's like worse. It's just they said fucking 1 in like 10 people in California that get tested just are test positive for corona.
Yep, and you get to live in Tent City out there.
Right.
It's far and away. It's worse. It's the only thing that's
Wait.
not worse right now, and there's not as much eyeballs on it, is like the hospital stuff. like I feel like the hospitals are not as like over or maybe that's just like us watching. I remember in the beginning it was like these hospitals are crazy, they don't know what they're doing. And now at least it's like, all right, everyone's just like somewhat taking it seriously and staying home and not being fucking idiots. Like I just want this thing to be over, man. I don't ever want to talk about this again.
Let's just start shooting everybody up with this vaccine. Let's roll.
I just want to get just 2021, fresh slate, get me to a fucking Islanders game, and that's it.
I was at the Children's Hospital today in Augusta, and they said they're getting vaccines for frontline workers December 15th. So
yeah, it's starting to roll out.
That's a good start.
Yeah, you guys donated what, 50K you donated?
Yeah, we started a program with our foundation with the Children's Hospital in Augusta. It's going to be sweet for behavior, health, and wellness for pediatrics. So
awesome.
It's a weird time, man. Kids are getting thrown through can't imagine having a kid that wasn't able to go to school or whatever's going through their life right now, and this pandemic's not helping things.
Totally.
Good work. Look at you, kids. You're not just a pretty face and a nice golf swing, you know?
Yeah, I can take other people's money and spend it well.
It's really good. That's really nice.
What a close on that nice comment.
You like your golf swing, or would you wish you had someone else's golf swing on tour?
My golf swing is probably as good as it's ever been right now. I just wish it had like some more juice.
Yeah, you sent me that video where you got like a power swing. Are you chasing distance right now?
Well, I mean, the whole game is all about distance right now. So I'm 36, about to be 37. My days are numbered if I'm going to hit it 280 down the middle. I'm going to have to play Sea Island and Colonial and Hilton Head to make all my hay. But if you stay in the top 50 in the world, you play all the world golf championships and majors where distance is the major key. So I got to figure out a way to compete those 6-8 weeks a year. Even if I miss more fairways, if I can gain 15 or 20 yards by changing my swing, it's worth it.
So how do you do that? How do you gain the distance? What do you change?
Well, for me, I can get more distance by using the ground and using verticals. So getting to my forward legs sooner and jumping makes the whip happen faster, which if you swing the club faster and hit the ball in the center of the face, the ball goes further. It's just physics. But then I lose my accuracy. So it's a double-edged sword.
I feel like though, like you've been good in like PGA championships. I feel like at Belle Reve, you were like leading after a couple rounds. This year, you were you tied 18th or 12th or something like that at the PGA.
Yeah. Well, it just depends on the course. Like Harding Park, I can play because it's not overly long. You take me to a place like Wingfoot, it's all about distance. You know, if I miss as many fairways as everybody else, no matter what, I'd much rather be hitting 9-iron out of the rough than 5-iron. So, you know, you take like a dude like Bryson at Wingfoot, if I can hit it 350 in the air and hit a wedge out of the rough, or hit it 280 in the rough and hit a 5-iron, I'd much rather hit 350 and hit it in the rough all day. I can hold the green with a wedge out of the rough. I got no chance with a 5-iron out of the rough. So it just depends on the setup of the track, to be honest.
You brought up Detroit earlier. That was like kind of the eye-opener when Bryson was first doing that. I was like, what the hell are we in for here?
Yeah, he won that week.
Yeah, and that was where it was like, is this going to turn into like pitching putt for him? And what the hell are we getting into when you talk about?
We thought he was going to win every tournament from there out.
Yeah. What did the players on tour think about that after? Were you like, oh shit, what are we in for here? Or what were your thoughts kind of internally? Because the media was obviously spun it into a wild direction.
I mean, more power to him, right? He took the time during that whole break to change his body, change the way he thought about golf. And he saw a competitive advantage to beat the rest of us, and that was through distance. And he trained his body to prepare himself to hit it as far as he possibly can. And the craziest thing about what he's done is, like, he's not only hitting it far, but he's hitting it pretty damn straight. Like, if you told me to hit it, gain 15 miles an hour and go play next week, I'm probably going to lose 3 balls in the first 9. And, like, I'm out, buzz. I'm out. But I've been blown away how straight he's hitting it. I remember watching him at the Travelers. And, Riggs, you've been on that range with me before. There's that other tee on the back of that range back there, and it's like 350 to carry to that tee. I watched him hit 15 tee balls that landed on that tee. Couldn't be more than 30 yards wide, that tee. I'm like, what? I can't beat that guy. He's hitting at 350 within a 30-yard variance over and over and over again. Doesn't matter from there. Like, it's like Riggs playing me straight up. It just doesn't matter. I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah, I mean, you would defeat me.
Right.
Yeah,
But as a scramble, it's another story.
Yeah, when you add the rest of you guys topping it down the fairway.
We got a couple scrambles coming up here. We're playing Pat Perez. We're playing Damon or Daman. I always say that wrong.
Damon.
I like to church things up.
When are y'all playing them?
Like
This
2
week.
days. Yeah.
PP said you were wearing them out there in Scottsdale, Riggs.
I haven't even seen him yet.
Bad sign. Maybe we're not playing PP.
Fucking guy's been gone the whole time. He was in Mexico, or he's been playing. I haven't even seen him. His house looks sick, like his back patio overlooking like mountains and the valley, and he literally has pillows that are shaped like his name. I think like he's got a whole.
Kids, do you think we're in trouble when we start playing these shorter courses against these guys?
Man, you're never in trouble if y'all just get up and down every time.
That feels like trouble.
Yeah, but like if we played Palmetto, same format, you would kill us, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think we'd get smoked.
Because
there.
if you had Dewey and you were tour kids at Palmetto for that day, what are you
I
firing?
wouldn't even need Dewey.
What were you firing?
We shoot 10 under.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hood up kids at Palmetto, and he fucking dusted us.
I'm
The
just
problem,
trying-
like, when I would go to Pinehurst, I don't know shit. Like, I've only been there, I played 5 rounds there maybe in my life.
Yeah, I remember you walked up to the 14th tee and you're like, what the hell happens here to Dewey? And I was like, all right, we're still got some sort of advantage here.
If you take me to a place I know, it's a whole different aspect. We
Also-
play conservative as hell if we don't know what's out there. But if I know exactly where to hit it, it's a game changer.
That thought never even crossed my mind.
No, it's true, man, because we're gonna be playing like fucking Damon shot.
Don't play people's home courses. That's a terrible idea.
So that's I say let's play the hardest, furthest back course we can play and just make it
We're
difficult
not
for
playing
everybody.
home course this time.
We're playing Damon's home course.
Damon and Perez's
Oh,
home
that's
course.
loser.
No, Perez, we're not. That's not true.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know about
thought it
Dayton. I
was
didn't know
Perez.
where we were playing.
What about the girls? Do the girls know that course?
They know it, but like, it's not their home course.
Yeah,
What do you mean the girls?
Paige Baranek we're playing and her friends.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
We're going to get smoked from that too.
Does she
150
get
in.
3 other friends or how many?
2.
She's got a guy on her team who's a big stoolie who donated money for the Jake Owen Foundation, and he won like the match against us, and he picked as his 3 partners, Paige, Chelsea, and Melissa, and all 3 of them at one point played professional golf. And we're playing from 7,000 yards, which helps us, I think, but like they're just better than we are at golf.
They are.
Probably a loser.
We're going to go. We're getting swept out of the desert for sure.
Swept out of Arizona. That sucks.
Oh,
Dude.
dude. 0-2
So-
would suck. If we're
Now I
in
know
goal
why
third
you
matches.
set up camp in Scottsdale for the winter, Riggs.
Why? So we could lose fucking golf matches?
Yeah, you got golf matches lined up for the whole winter.
Exactly. That's the dream. Living the dream. Like can't break 80 and you got golf matches lined up on fucking the internet every day.
I will
Have you
say
been-
I'm feeling like, all right, I'm a roller coaster when it comes to these matches, but like I think that and you guys saw me play, we haven't released any of this footage or talked really about anything. We can't because we're holding on to stuff that we've done. But I'm playing some pretty decent golf right now. I think that we're going to elevate the way we've played in any of these scrambles. I think we're going to be better than
that's
we've ever
not
been.
what your boy from the Islanders told me. He said you fucking suck.
No, he didn't say that, bro.
Yeah.
No,
Let me
he
read.
didn't.
Let me read. Hold on, I got my phone right here. We can read his exact text.
Wait a minute now. I probably sucked when I was his partner, but we beat his ass when I was against him the next time. Read what I said. Read what he said probably the first time.
This is gonna kill all of Frankie's confidence, and we're fucked.
Yeah, this Kiz, I don't know about this, man. Can you gas Frankie up right now? Can you just
So
lie?
Kiz is talking about Cal Clutterbuck. You guys played at what's that name called? Ballyhoo or some shit like what?
Oh, Hoopy.
Alahoopy?
Yeah.
That's a match play course, right?
Yeah.
Clutterbuck played with like Kiz and like Spieth was there and like all
He
these
said,
fucking.
Frankie and I played Friday. Your chipping lesson didn't stick. I said, he's terrible. I said, he said, laugh out loud. I know. It was my first time with him. I expected better.
Oh, no.
That hurts.
Dude, come on. First of
Come
all,
on, Cal.
come on, Cal.
Oh.
First of all, the guy's a +2, and I'm not going to start shitting on my own teammates, but the guy's a +2, and he hasn't broken like 73 yet or 74. Like, I mean, he really hasn't like he shot a 73 and then an 81. So I mean, Cal needs to step it up too. He's 1-1 in matches with me.
1-1. That's because you're playing up there in New York where it's cold as hell.
I wanted to bring up Cal because it was very, very funny when the Islanders were on that run and you just became like a little mini Islander fan, and y'all get
Texting
texts
you all the time.
I'd get texts for like I'd be a fucking madman, and the Islanders would be in a fucking overtime to like make it into the playoffs game, and I get a text from Kiz like, man, that sucked. Like after the Islanders give up a goal, I'm like, who the fuck told Kevin Kisner that this game's on right now? Like someone stop. Like I almost deleted his phone number, and I had to like talk him through something. The worst one, and I even brought it up to
I'm like,
Cal.
why is Cal not on the fucking ice right now? He's like, he's third line. I'm like, what the fuck's that mean?
Yeah, and then the worst is when the Islanders were in the playoffs, and you and Cal were talking like one of the nights before, and you're like, you better fucking go out there and score. And then we're watching the game. He's got it on, and Cal takes a fucking cheap shot, like bad.
Oh, he got drilled.
Bad.
Dude.
And he goes off the ice and like doesn't come back. Like he was like wobbly. He didn't know where the fuck he was. And Kiz in the group text goes like, "What? Like you pussy, you can't take a hit." And I'm just like, and then they announced like Cal Clutterbuck has not come back to the game due to like a head injury. I was just like, Kiz, you're like this guy's gonna murder you when he sees this text message. I brought it up to him the other day, and he's like, man, that made me laugh when I saw that in the room. He's like, fucking Kiz just like is so laid back. He's like, I wanted to murder that guy.
You know what he told me when I text him on the side? I'm like, you all right, buddy? He said, yeah, they tell me when I quit drooling on myself, I'm good to go.
Yeah, no, he's a really good dude, man. He is a fucking stick.
Yeah, he can play.
Clutter's a stick. He can play. So you guys like what was that you guys all played together? Because he said it was just a bunch of tour pros and then just him.
His buddy owns the joint,
Yeah.
Michael Walrath, and we didn't have anywhere to go during the pandemic to practice, so he told us to come down there, and he brought Cal, and Cal was just sending it.
Yeah. Man, that must be unreal though to play like the laid back, like fun with the boys golf when you just have. I mean, the names that he was rattling off are crazy. You guys had some fucking players out there.
Yeah, we had some players, and Cal was just amongst us like he was part of the game. And he was like, this is out of my league, boys. This is out of my league. I just remember how sunburned he got on his legs because it was hot as shit. And we were giving him so much shit about how red his legs were all day. It was awesome.
And he plays on ice sports, right? I mean, he's never really seen
Ice
the sun.
sport. And it looked like lobsters on the back of his calves all day.
Oh, fuck. Go Islanders.
Is he going to play this year or is he toast?
No, he's playing. He's playing. He's got that messed up wrist, man, but he's still playing. I mean, he played well in the playoffs. He's a fucking grinder.
He couldn't do something with his wrist. I can't remember when we were down there.
He took one of the most gruesome injuries I've ever seen in a hockey game, and there's been some bad ones in the history of the game. But that was
Sliced his wrist right here with a skate, right?
yeah, I think it was Bergeron fell, and he fell into the skate and like in the air, and the edge just cut like the nerve and the whole entire like artery of his hand.
Yeah, he showed it to me. It was disgusting.
It goes into like a part where you start seeing the white, like like when you
That's
see
right.
yeah.
Oh. Ugh.
Imagine now
Yeah,
trying to play fucking hockey with your wrist moving around, golf. Oh, but he's a warrior, man. Him and Matt Martin, the Bash brothers, they've led the league in hits. It was like a 7-year span where it was like Cal Clutterbuck number 1, Matt Martin number 2, and they were on the same line. The most fun line to watch in all of hockey. Every time they come out, just fucking people go crazy because they're just laying bodies on the ice. But
yeah, that's what you
Nice
told
about
me.
that.
And then the second game I watched of him, he's getting carried off in a stretcher. I'm like, what a pussy.
it's been a tough segment for the Islanders, but
I was like, God dang, he's out there drooling on himself. Get him out the ice, man.
shit.
Kids, I got a question for you. We were talking earlier about nerves and just like how nervous we get at times, especially like first tee jitters and shit. And we were curious, like, you guys, have you learned how to handle nerves better on a golf course, like a technique, or is it just having been there, or do you just sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm really nervous and I can't figure it out either? I think this came from Hovland, who said afterwards, like, yeah, I get too nervous out there and I can't handle it sometimes. So I just as someone who's been there, you won 3 times, 25th ranked player in the world. What do you got? Any tips, anything you've come up with to handle just when you're nervous as fuck?
Man, I get nervous to this day on it doesn't matter. It's just weird. Your body changes every day and you don't know what to expect from day in, day out. But there's no recipe for experience. No matter what occupation you're in, if you've been in that situation before, you feel more comfortable. It doesn't matter if you're negotiating a contract for a big company. It doesn't matter if you're hammering a nail. It doesn't matter if you're building something. Like, I feel more comfortable with a chance to win the more times I have a chance to win. And if you go, like, even at Sea Island, like, I hadn't had a chance to really, really win in 6-8 months. And I was like, man, this is fun. Like, I hadn't felt these nerves in a while. If you do that week in, week out, it's kind of like, this is normal. But I think experience is the biggest key, and understanding how your body's gonna react in those situations is the biggest difference. And enjoying the moment. I mean, that's what you got to do. Like, the whole point of being in a position to be nervous is that's what you work for, and appreciating that. And instead of, so many people in these day and times want to be like nervous or scared to fail. And I think it's the complete opposite. Like, I worked my ass off to get to this point, and I want to shine. And that's the whole point of me being in it. And all that time I worked and put in this time is to shine in this moment.
Wow.
That was inspirational.
It was.
I didn't know you had that in you. That wasn't.
Here we go.
You know what? It was, we had a huge conversation about that just a little before, like, talking about that has to be it, right? And you said, like, hammering a nail or fucking doing what you want. I equated it to, like, we put on these, like, concerts at Barstool, and I'm the drummer, and we were at Irving Plaza in New York City, and the fucking lights hit me, and I had to play a solo, and like 1,500 people are here to see a rock show, and it's us fucking idiots up there. Like, somehow we got up there because of the name Barstool, and I was just like, all right, like, I'm nervous. I thought I was gonna drop the sticks, but then, like, in the second song, I'm like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. It was so easy because I've drummed my whole life, so I was just like, that's easy shit. Like, I'm ready. We booked the next show while we were in the green room after. We were just like, we're there again. So I could see why it's just like, you're on the green, your first ever first ever win. Your heart's probably in your throat. You're like, what the hell is this feeling? And then, $20 million later, you're probably like, oh yeah, I know what this feeling feels like. I'm ready to get another one.
Hold my beer and watch this.
Exactly.
It's interesting. It's also, it hits home when you say, like, you just don't know what your body's going to feel like day to day. And it's so true. Like, on our level, sometimes most of the time even, I walk to the first tee, play plenty of golf, and you even no matter who you're playing with, it's like I just feel fine. Like I don't care, like who, whatever. And then other times, whether it's the company or whether it's just the day, or maybe you just got absolutely hammered the night before, and you just stand on the first tee, and I'm just like, how am I going to possibly put an athletic move upon this golf ball and make it go straight? Like there's just no way. And it's bizarre how different it can change from day to day.
Think about how different it is when your partner or whoever you're playing with shanks the first shot before you go. How much more confidence you gain stepping up to your ball, knowing that someone already did it and that you wouldn't be the first to mess up. When I root for I root for the demise of every single person on the tee box before I swing. So knowing
What about
that
when they both stripe it and then it's your turn?
immediate extra nerves. I'm like, because then I'm just a fucking schmuck out here holding everyone back. It's extra nerves. When we play in Arizona, even though it's a scramble, when we're playing in that scramble, I will be rooting for you guys to top your first tee balls.
What about topping it in the pond at Palmetto? Then I didn't know there was a pond there.
Let's not talk about that.
Well, think about Riggs. Riggs, when we did the 4-man scramble against all the country stars, he had 7 guys tee off in front of him. All of us hit the fairway, and then Riggs just put one off the planet to the right. I've never seen him hit a ball like that before. Like that had to be extra nerves, right?
Riggs hit one to the right. Shocking.
This was on 18 at Troubadour. It wasn't even close.
No, first hole at Troubadour.
I'm saying the ball ended up where? Oh, the driving range actually.
It was probably on the range. It was, yeah. I mean, it was a bad swing. What do you want me to do? It was a bad golf swing.
But I'm with Frankie. I don't know if I actively root for someone's demise on the tee, but when someone else shanks it, I am as comfortable as can be. I feel like I'm laying in a bed full of pillows when somebody hits a bad first tee shot in front of me. It's great.
How could you ever feel uneasy on a tee shot? I've never seen you miss a fairway.
Certainly not on the first tee. I rarely miss fairways, but then after that, it's a bit of a crapshoot. But yeah, I do have a fine. It gets down there, a deep 225, 230, and it's fucking just gone. That's how it goes.
Kiss, since we're getting deep and all like, and you're speaking at such a nice level about, nerves and all this stuff. We were talking about greatness before, and I'd like to get your take on this. Like, we were talking about this movie. I'm not gonna get all into it. Everyone just listen to it. But basically, like, what does it take to achieve greatness? You think of Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Tiger Woods. Like Tom Brady's the outlier, but like Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods, they have lived lives that are so tarnished and crazy. And Tiger's listening to war tapes, and his mom's feeding him food every time he hits a golf ball when he's a child. We've all read the book. And Michael Jordan has no personal relationships. Everyone hates him. He's the worst teammate of all time. But they've gotten to the level of like ultimate success and greatness. Like, is there any, like, do you see the extra level that they took? And do you ever wish that you did that? Or are you happy that you are where you are? Because I used you as a comparison. You and Tiger both achieved professional athleticism. You're both professional golfers. But one guy went about it like a war fucking guy and had no life, no personality, no relationships. It's the most tarnished, crazy personal life in the history of sport. And the other guy is our favorite person in the world, and I'm talking about you. And you're laid back, and you fucking drink wine. You can come on with the boys. You have a real personality, and you just get.
Yeah, you're very well adjusted.
You're well adjusted. You wear a hoodie. It's just like you're different, and you both have achieved the same like goal at one point. Like, do you ever wish that you did it the other way, or are you happy the way you did it? And is what his way the only way to achieve greatness in your mind?
I tell people all the time that every superstar I've ever met is a different breed. Like, I can walk in a room, and if Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods was standing there or sitting there, you could just feel that they were a different human being than the rest of us. And I think that's an innate something that God or whoever you believe in put in them to be that person. And I don't think that necessarily they outworked everybody. Obviously they worked their butts off, but they have something in them. They have a DNA, they have a makeup that makes them a superstar, and they all are different, and they all have this same character trait that makes them a superstar. And I'm not sure what it is, but you can see it and you can feel it when you're around them, that they only see themselves and they only see how to be great at all times in everything they do. And it's the craziest trait I've ever seen.
That's sort of what we thought. It's like we haven't been around it like you have, but that's pretty much what we said. Of like, yeah, there's just a different echelon, and you're a different human, you're a different breed, you're a different something. And you know, like we were wondering, like, would like Kevin Kisner even want to like trade lives with somebody like Tiger Woods? Like we were like no, like probably not. Like he's got his thing, and he can't go out, he can't go to dinner, he can't go sit at the pub, he can't do all of these normal things, and you're a normal fucking dude. So not being like, would you want to like trade lives with Tiger Woods?
I've just changed bank accounts.
You're right, but that's the problem. It's like fucking Thanos in Avengers. He has to throw his daughter off the fucking mountain to get the Infinity Stone. Like, it's what did you risk? Everything. Like
Nothing.
No, I wouldn't change my shit for anything, man. I was 10 years ago. If you'd have told me I was where I am now, I would have been like, yeah, right. But I'm 5'10", 160 pounds, and like to hunt and fish and have kids and have a family. So I don't have that character trait that I think other people do that are superstars.
Is that the only bucket we're in together, non-superstars and other people?
No. There's definitely more buckets than that.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of another bucket where you could loop up.
Software salesman, kids. Then
No, I'm saying, yeah, that's the only bucket that we would ever be paired in the same bucket together.
Is what?
We're neither of us are superstars.
Is what I'm
yeah,
to.
For sure.
That's the only bucket we're in the same one.
1,000%. I'm telling you, if you hang out with superstars for long enough, you'll realize it. There's only a few of them in the world, but I've been fortunate enough to hang out with a few of them, and they definitely are different than the rest of us.
The fact that it like gives off to you and competitors and other people in their field who, I mean, the majority of you guys feel like you are the best in the world. So like for it to give off to that crew means it's another level of like us. To us, you are that level of like, we can't even touch that.
Right.
So like Tiger's obviously a god at that level, but for you to be like, well, that dude's another breed is scary to me.
I remember at the President's Cup at Liberty National, I had a 2-week-old baby with me, but Henry, and he wasn't even in my room. Brittany gave me my own room, and she brought Henry and Kate. And I woke up at like 5 a.m. one morning and just to check on them. And I went to the team room to get coffee, which was like right down the hallway from my room, which we didn't even have to be up till 9 or 10 something. We were leaving. And I walked in and Tiger was in there getting coffee too. And he's in full sweat. I mean, sweat just pouring off of him in workout gear. And I was like, he wasn't even playing. He was a captain. He was hurt, right?
Yeah.
I was like, where the hell you been? He said, I went to New York Fitness this morning across the street and worked out. And I was like, dude, it's 5:15. He's like, yeah, I went there at 4 o'clock. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. He was working out, not even playing in the fucking tournament. He was just there, captain, had no responsibility all day except to walk around with P. Reed and just grinding straight off back surgery.
That's the difference.
That's why he's a superstar.
Right. Like and obviously at that point, he didn't need to do anything. He never had to do anything ever. And he's up at 4 a.m. Like, it's great. Just a different thing.
Stunning. Really is stunning, man.
I think it is innate. I think you're right. Like that's, you know, anybody can be given as many chances or whatever, but you have to want it that badly. And we're talking about, we've been able to name 2 guys. We're talking about Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods. Out of the hundreds, out of the thousands of professional athletes that could have been named, there's 2 guys that come right to mind.
I put, God rest him, but Kobe Bryant on that list.
Yeah.
Kobe.
Yeah.
Kobe was I never met Kobe, but I think he was on that same level.
Same,
Totally.
yeah, same sort of instinct like that, where it's just go, 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 improve, 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 no matter what you've accomplished, which is pretty much everything before him, but you're still hungry.
100%.
Just different.
It's pretty crazy. Like you're the 25th best currently ranked person at the game of golf in the world. I look like 30.
Yeah, but I'm number one and cool.
For sure.
I'm not going to give you that title, but dude, there's like 30 million people play golf in the U.S., and that's just like the U.S. Think about how many people play in the world, and you're the 25th best at. Like, think about like how many fucking people try to be good at golf and grind over instructions, swings, YouTube videos, going to the range, working on putting, chipping, bunker shot, everything. And you're like you said, you're a little 5 foot fucking 10 Aiken, South Carolina hillbilly, and you're the 25th best at it in the world. That's crazy town.
I mean, I don't just sit around and drink wine.
You
I'll
are right.
grind too. It's
That-
not no hobby over here.
Right, and that's sort of what Pat Perez said about Dustin Johnson. How like the perception of DJ is sometimes that he's not all there, and he's just sort of he's athletically talented and he's gifted. But then Pat Perez was like, I mean, the people who are closest to him and his peers like you guys, they see how hard he works. Like it's not an accident. It's nothing other than he works super hard. And yeah, he's got great God-given talent, but he still works his ass off. Like I think that is sometimes missed.
DJ's one of the hardest working dudes I know out there. And I've known DJ since we were 12. He was my 4-ball partner growing up. And I've seen that guy hit more balls and grind harder after rounds, things that, most superstars don't do, DJ's doing. And he deserves every second of the fame he's getting right now.
Yeah, that dude, you hear that all the time. You hear how hard he works, how much he cares, how even methodically he works. He's on his putting, all kinds of different stuff. And I mean, not to pump your tires again, but I tell people that about you all the time. I mean, going to tournaments when it's you'll be like, no, I'm gonna about 3 hours before I go into the physio, and I've got all this physio work that I do to get my body in the right spot. And then once I arrive early, I got to grind on this. You got your fucking space boots out on the putting green, like there's a whole thing that you're doing. I think people don't
Good
realize.
job, man. Got to be the best.
All of us were stunned when we were out at Bethpage and we watched you go into the gym or that gym trailer, and we're like, well, what's he doing in there? We're like, where's he going? And then you're right though, like there's stuff that most people, ourselves included, we just don't see, and then you see it and you're like, oh, it's starting to make some sense now.
Yeah, no doubt. As I get there 2.5 hours before every tee time, no matter what. I remember when I was all my boys I grew up with 5 or 10 years ago, one of them was like, man, all you get to do is play golf for a living. I said, well, I'll tell you what, take the week off of work and I'll pay your salary for the week and you come with me. And if you make it the whole week, I'll double your salary for the week. He's like, all right, in. So we got there on, I think, Monday afternoon. I played 9 holes. He walked the 9 holes outside the ropes. Tuesday morning, I got up at 5, went to the trailer, just made him sit outside the trailer. I worked out. I went and ate breakfast. He had to stand on the range. I warmed up for an hour, chipped for 30 minutes, putted for 30 minutes, played 18, got done at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Had a media deal, got done, got therapy at like 4 in the afternoon. Told him to wait in the car. I got in the car at like 5:15, drove back to the hotel. He was like, damn, that was a full day. I was like, yeah, tomorrow I got the pro-am. So I tee off at 9. I'm going to get there at 6. I'm going to do that same program again. He was like, okay. Wednesday afternoon at like 4:30, I was leaving. I said, I'll meet you in the car. Walked out 4:30. He's like, I think I'm going to head home, dude. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I've seen enough. I said, we hadn't even got to the tournament yet. I tee off tomorrow at 7:20. I'm going to get there at 4:30 for that. He was like, yeah, I think I'm going to just head on back to Aiken.
Holy shit, man. You smoked him out. You
Smoked
smoked
him
him out. Just a regular week of work.
Yeah, I think it was at Quail Hollow, just a regular old Wells Fargo.
Did you add anything to that week, or was that just as regular and standard as it gets? Or did you?
Well, that was that was earlier in my career when I could do all that for that many hours.
That's great.
How you said this? You think your swing's like as good as it's ever been? How do you feel a lot of pressure then to like cash in right now?
Nah, I think I'm on the other side of the bell curve, to be honest. Like, I just can't hit it far enough anymore. And the distance is so damn nice pick. The distance is so big a deal that I can only compete in so many tournaments if I don't putt my ass off. And so I really am trying to stay, I'll be 37 in February. Think about the dudes that are top 15 in the world. Hovland just went to top 15 in the world with his win. Hovland, Wolf, Morikawa, that are all, under 24, are all top 15 in the world.
Yep.
So you tell me how we're doing.
37. Come on, 37. That's young. You're young.
Nah, dude, I think the game's changing. I think it's going to start looking more like tennis in the next decade than it looks like golf. I think the age of the Fred couples competing until they're 50 is long gone. I think that the golf game has changed. I think the golf courses are changed. No golf courses are getting shorter. And as you get older, it only gets harder.
Yeah, but tennis is a bunch of old guys. A bunch of guys that have been doing it now forever that are still in the top four. What do you mean by that?
How old are they?
Federer's probably 36. Djokovic is probably 32, 33. Rafa's probably 36.
Yeah, and I think they're done.
Ooh, I disagree with that, but maybe.
You think they're going to play to 45?
No, but I would say that they got a couple more years in them for sure.
I would agree with that. I'm saying I got a couple more years, but I think the bell curve's on the other side.
Fair. All right, like if you're just saying like the age of 32 is the age where you start going on the other side, then yeah, I agree with that.
Right.
And Jokic is only 33. I would have said he's older.
I guess it's a good point because it didn't like golf. They used to say your prime is in your 30s, in your mid-low 30s.
Yeah, I just think it's changing.
Yeah.
The one thing that I love about golf versus like tennis, just to compare those two sports, is tennis is brutal in the fact that it's just like it's you playing DJ. Where it's like straight up, you got to hit a drive versus his drive. But in golf, at least you get to play the course, which I love about it. That you can play it 1,000 different ways, which is impossible in the tennis game because you're just going up against Federer and he hits every shot better than you. You just can't do anything about it. But in golf, you can be creative, and that's why I love like that aspect. And I do think it brings them longevity. But to your point of the length of courses and like where the game is going there, and then Bryson just hitting a wedge out of the rough versus a 5-iron makes just a drastic difference to hold greens and be competitive.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's never going to be a doubt that there's going to be certain courses that I'll always be able to compete on.
Yeah.
But the majority where you make all the hay, I think, are changing so drastically that, I'm not going to risk what I can do on the courses I can compete in to be able to compete on the courses that I'm not sure of.
Yeah. Right. How good do you feel about the last decade of your life to put yourself in this point in your life now where you sit back with a bottle of wine? How good do you feel about that last 10 years you've had?
That's why I'm sitting here.
That's fair. And I'm trying to sell software tomorrow.
I'm sitting here watching the game on 2 TVs with a fire going.
You deserve it, kids. All right, man. Well, when are you playing again?
Maui.
Wow.
Champions.
Just another free money event.
Yeah. How much do you love the WGC? You just got to hit one tee shot, and what do you get? 50K?
Yeah, that's why I got to keep staying in that top 50 in the world as long as I can. I'm on year 6, baby.
That's good. That's fucking really good. Jesus.
Year 6 of all the majors and all the World Golf Championships.
There's not even a lot of guys that can say that.
No,
but you're talking to one.
You ever need somebody to take one of those swings for you and cash in a check, you just let me know.
Is it going to my bank account or yours?
Give me $1 and I'll do it for you. I mean, whatever.
I told you, Riggs, Wad Wednesday.
What?
I said, like I told you, Wad Wednesday.
Oh yeah, wow. This was great. I wish you would have texted me that. Mike. Tell these guys.
I was having a big time at Thanksgiving, and you know, when you play well and you get a big chunk of change, they just zip it right into your bank account on Wednesday after the tour event. And all the tour players call it Wad Wednesday. You get a big old fat wad in your checking account. And I'd screenshot my checking account, and I was going to send it to Riggs when I was drinking a bunch of beer over Thanksgiving. I was like, right before I sent it, I had this inclination. This is probably a bad idea. He's going to put this on social media. So I didn't. And then like a week later, I text Riggs and said, I almost sent you something. And then he started asking all these questions about, so what do they do, man? They just send all this money, like $1 million into your checking account? I was like, yeah, exactly what they do.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's sick. You get the text on right after the tournament, and then Wad Wednesday hits, and that's a really cool feeling.
Time to roll.
Around the Christmas season, you get giddy for Christmas the next day when you're a kid. I can't imagine the feeling on Tuesday night, just waiting, pulling down your app, refresh, and boom.
Carries you right through the Christmas season, Lurch.
I bet you it does.
Wad Wednesday is a fucking great term.
When does Dewey? What's Dewey's got like? I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Dewey has to rely on Brittany, so whenever she gets around to writing this check, he's probably like texting her nonstop. Hey, what about that check we made?
He's thinking like, man, has it been enough days that would it be rude if I texted Brittany?
He's probably like meeting the mailman at the mailbox every day. A week later, is it here yet? Envelope from the Kisner house.
Dewey. I love Dewey. Sweet. All right, kids.
You're out. Had enough of me?
I mean, we could talk all night, but I feel bad sometimes. You know, I know you don't like that we don't pay you to come on the show. So,
did you tell the boys that I'm taking you on a hunting trip?
I think I told the boys, but I don't know if I've told anybody that listens to the show. But yeah, we're going hunting.
Riggsy and his dad and his brother are joining me for a hunting trip after Christmas.
That's right. Awesome. You did mention that.
If Riggsy doesn't make it back to the foreplay pod, I hope y'all can handle the light. If I don't shoot him, I'm being a degenerate.
Imagine a story headline breaks just like the Dick Cheney story where I get like hit by a fucking shotgun spread from kids just being in the wrong spot.
Yeah, it won't be a story. It'll be more like a funeral.
Yeah, it'll be an obituary.
Can't take Lurch out fucking hunting because he's just too big.
You're an idiot.
If he stood up, he'd definitely get a shotgun to the dome.
Well, you shouldn't stand up.
That's
a great idea.
We're going hunting. So my dad and my brother are big outdoorsmen. They're good fishermen. They're good. I'm just not, and so I'm gonna be the odd man out. I don't know how shit works. I just don't. Yeah,
You're just gonna sit next to me, and I'll tell you how it works.
Yeah, it's a fun day.
That's literally my plan. And I've done plenty of hunting and fishing, but I just don't. I'm just not a natural.
What are you hunting for?
We're gonna kill a bunch of ducks.
It's easy enough. That'll be a nice cold morning for Riggsy, depending on when you go.
Yeah, I'll wake him up about 5 a.m. with a little cup of coffee with some Baileys in it. We'll get rolling.
I can do that. I'm a skier, so like that's what when you ski, it's cold as shit. And you get up early as hell. So I can do that. That's fine.
Put Riggsy
yeah,
out.
But we're gonna get in water.
Sweet.
Yeah, you got waders for me?
Yeah, I got waders for you.
I'll be fine.
You'll be fine. You don't worry about anything. You hunt with me, I'll take care of you.
That's my plan. I'm just gonna legit like hold your hand basically for 3 days straight in the swamps, and we'll see what happens.
You just walk around like my son Henry beside me the whole time. Daddy, what do we do next?
That's fine. I won't call you daddy, but I will walk around.
If you do, I'm videoing it and sending it to the boys.
Steve is going to be upset.
Oh man, he is going to be he'll be up before you. He'll be like my old man will be like the Tiger story when you go in to get the coffee at like 5 a.m. my old man will have been in there for like 2 hours straight running like sprints uphill with weights in his backpack ready.
Yeah. I just see him like doing push-ups and his waiters waiting on me.
He honestly will be. Like, he'll be ready.
He looks tough as nails too. He's got a little hunchback. Like, I don't know if you've met him before, but he looks tough and he is tough.
That's the kind of dudes we need to put up with Riggs for a week.
He thinks I'm the biggest pussy in the world. I think.
Yes, you are.
He's not wrong a little bit.
He hasn't gotten to know me yet, so I think you've got someone out there that could probably take that from you.
He was when he found out I moved to Scottsdale for the winter, he was just like, he said something just like, yeah, it's great. You're like, this coward can't handle the cold or something like that. It's just, he just had to slide something in. So yeah, I think he thinks I'm a little bit of a pussy. So this will be interesting.
Good
I
luck.
have plenty of Bud Light for you.
Yeah, we like Bud Light. We're gonna have a good time. All right, kids. Thanks, man. We appreciate it as always.
Y'all be good. Enjoy New York up there, boys.
Thanks,
What
Kiz.
did you qualify it as, Frankie? Just a terrible place or something right now?
I don't know. Miserable, terrible. People losing their lives daily. I don't know. It's you know what's going to happen
Struggle
after this podcast. I may get into a little back and forth with Mr. Cal Clutterbuck after this. We're talking about my golf game. I may have to send him a little text here.
Your
So
game's
I
Said
appreciate
you're terrible.
great this week.
Worse than expected or something? Is that
Yeah, I think that's what it. I think I said he's terrible, and he said, "Yeah, worse than expected."
Which is hard coming from a guy that like only knew about how bad I was.
Right.
That means you're terrible.
Yeah. Still want to
Kiz,
know.
what do you think we go in this? So we play the girls, then we play Joel, and then we play Pat.
1 and 2,
Who do we beat?
the girls.
All right. Well, you're the only tour player that's
If there's
beat 'em.
birdies for them, there's birdies for us. We're 4 capable, moving people that can get the ball from the tee to the green.
Yeah, but
You can
upper
beat
right
'em.
screen is not good. It has to be.
I mean, even Trent can hit it with the girls.
Yeah, probably drive it pretty similar distance, Trent.
I would say very similar, yeah.
No.
When we
But
played
not to be
the,
mean, but Paige, they hit it further than you do.
They
we
definitely-
played the Shark Shootout this past year. Charlie Hoffman was my partner. We played with Lexi Thompson the first day, and the wind was in off the right on one. And Lexi got up there and smoked this like tumbling draw with the wind, and then Charlie got up there and heel sliced it up into the wind. And we gave him shit the whole way down the fairway. She blew it like 20 by him. Oh man, she hits it further than I do, so I can't talk shit. But damn, it was funny. I rode Charlie's ass all day long on the first tee shot.
1 and 2, we'll take it.
Is our third goodbye coming here? I think our third goodbye out of Riggs is coming here pretty quickly.
Yeah, I would take 1 and 2, but I want to go 3-0.
Me too.
What are y'all, 2-0?
2-0.
You
Yep.
got it.
There's a chance that our most impressive win that we'll ever have was against you, and it was the first match we ever did.
Yeah, you played your asses off.
Yeah, we did. The one-hit wonders.
Yeah. Those up and downs coming down the stretch, I was just like, where is this coming from?
Oh shit.
That's a perfect example of counting your chickens before they hatch.
What came
Like,
first,
I
the
want
chicken
the
or the
ball.
egg?
I was counting my chickens, like, oh, I won this all, and then Riggs would like skank one up there to 4 feet.
Kids, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Had to be the chicken.
I said the egg.
Yeah. Well, this was on this podcast actually today. Then we started talking about the ever-expanding universe, and it got dark.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you think, kids, do you think the universe, that there's like a wall at the edge of the universe, or do you think it just goes, like, if it goes forever, but it's expanding, what is it expanding into? It doesn't, like,
There's
They're
gotta be
saying
an- there's got to be an end somewhere, right?
they're
I'd
saying
rather
it
see it
expands
out-
every day. It's just
Like,
it's never end.
too
It's
long.
always expanding. But Lurch doesn't like to talk about stuff on podcasts. He doesn't want to do it. This is. Did you just
Did
say
y'all
like
see
good
the
luck, Charles?
star right now? Since
no,
we're talking
no.
about this, Jupiter and Saturn, I think, are lined up right now. You can see it. It's the biggest star of all time.
what?
Really?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Get your app out on your phone and do the universe. Jupiter, I think it's Jupiter and Saturn. Don't quote me on it, but 2 of the planets are lined up making a humongous star right now. So go check it out.
God damn.
Well,
Yeah.
no, Frankie, I was just saying my brother's kid asked him about what.
Oh, that didn't come through.
Okay, what space is, and then I was like, "Good luck with that one." Like, explain space.
Oh.
Like, I'm out of here. Like,
Would you go to space right now if you were asked?
Yes.
No.
It's like
No fucking chance.
No.
I get nervous
I
on
would do it.
planes, man.
Take Lurch.
No chance.
I would do it.
What?
Dude, you know, to go to space, you know how
Yeah,
few
I'm in.
people have been to space?
I don't care. I'm with Frankie. I get nervous every time I take off on a flight. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah, once I'm up there, I'm like, holy fuck! If I'm in space, I'm looking
Yeah.
around like this was a bad idea,
But
man. Look
look,
at where the world is. It's in our
Look.
fucking window.
taking a flight is like obligatory. You're doing it to get from A to B. Going into space, you're doing it to be like a monumental experience.
To
that
never
only-
come back, essentially. Like,
No.
Yeah, I just see like the astronaut that's floating off in space, and that would be me. I'm out.
You'd be trying to go to the bathroom, take a wrong turn, and then you're just out there like, oh.
Yeah. So
Little baby kids just going away.
We don't
And
have
you
to
end up in a
all that shit
fucking-
on, and I can't move, and I got like that cord hanging off my back, and it's just floating off, and then
you end up in a
never
fucking.
again.
You end up in a
And then
book.
where do you go, Lurch? If you float off, where do you go?
You end up in a
To the wall?
bookcase, like
You just-
like Matthew McConaughey, Interstellar.
Hit the wall and slide down, and dead you are.
God, that would be the most depressing thing. Like, if you fall from, God forbid, like a building or something like that, it's pretty quick. If you detach from a space shuttle,
Toast.
but you're alive for a long time,
Long time.
like until you dehydrate or you
I think I pop open the
No.
thing and just do it.
Well, I think you run out of oxygen pretty quickly, actually.
Oh, really?
in the spacesuit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can only hold oxygen so long.
I guess yeah, because
only
if you
got-
lose that tube, if you lose
Yeah.
your umbilical cord or whatever,
I think-
Yeah,
Frankie's right. I think I would just open the mask and let it just like
it's just
it
over.
takes 10 or 15 seconds to like just kill me pretty quickly. See you later.
oh, I think you got less than a second. I think you freeze up and you're
Sure.
like, it's
I've
like,
seen the movies. Just fucking.
yeah. I
A
think
positive way to end this podcast.
Dude, there's this dumb HBO show, I think it is, where it's like everyone's stuck on this fucking ship. It's a new one. And Josh Gad, I think, is in it. I don't know, whatever. And they're like they're all stuck on this like basically space cruise, and they can't get off, and they don't want to tell everyone. So they're like telling people like, oh, like we can just they'll end up getting like cabin fever, and all the people on the cruise are like, it's not actually space out there. They lied to us. And like someone goes to like they all try and run out of space, and they all just do that freeze thing as they get out of the door. It's actually a very funny scene. Every single person's like, let's go, and they jump out and they just freeze mid-step. It's nuts.
Looks like that show is called Avenue 5.
Yes, thank you.
Never heard of that.
It's horrible.
How did we get on people floating away in space?
I asked him with the chicken and the egg. That's a bad question to start people on. I gotta get better at this podcasting thing.
Hey, we're doing all right, Frank.
Yeah.
Keep your head up.
Thanks, Kiz.
All right.
Well, I don't want to be the goodbye guy now because then Lurch's going to call me out.
Yeah, do one
Where's
more.
our bell curve, Kez? We're talking about like the peaks and valleys. Where's the bell curve of foreplay?
You're
You're
no,
probably at the top right now. You better ride the space thing as long as you can.
Space thing.
Your umbilical cord, as we say,
Oh,
is
you're
fucking
driving
it's
space
shrinking, and it's getting right here to your body.
Kiz, do you ever not like when we follow you at a tournament? Do you ever get like annoyed?
No,
Okay.
I want every stoolie you got to bring it.
Fucking right.
hell yeah.
I actually wonder that too. Like if you just sometimes
Like
You
if you're
just-
playing poorly and we're just us idiots are there, like, what's up, Kiz? What up? For Instagram. like,
5 iron.
like, fuck you,
Fire.
dude. Get
I
the
can
fuck
promise
outta
you,
here.
I'm not trying to play shitty.
No, I meant like just like, all right, like not today, bro. Like just
Like,
get
we-
out of here.
We get annoying to you.
Yeah, yeah.
No, never.
All right. It's good to know. Now you can never
But-
get rid of us. You had a chance for a second there.
But the problem is you can't come back to tournaments for a long time.
True, bro.
Maybe the
Badly-
vaccine will help.
How badly do you guys need fans?
Bad.
Is it different?
Not only for revenue, but like for the juice at the tournaments.
Yeah.
We need them to influence the outcome.
Tournaments don't pop right now, eh?
Nah. I mean, we're the only sports league to go up in TV, but still, we need fans.
You think some guys got away with a couple wins this year, like getting lucky that there was no.
I mean, I would hate to say that, but there's no doubt that the atmosphere was way easier to win a golf tournament.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I don't care what tournament you're in. People yelling at you makes it harder to concentrate.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, how wouldn't it?
Dude, we were
Right.
walking at Wingfoot, and that was the only one I went to this year, and it was weird, man. The leaders
Yeah,
are
there's
walking down like
There's
the
no
tee's
juice.
hole, and there's just nothing. Just
No
quiet.
juice.
Yeah. Fuck. Well,
Riggs,
That's all you got for us?
Riggs, give us one more goodbye.
would this be my fifth, I think, if I
I think
did?
it's 5. Yeah, I think it's 5 or 6.
lot. Should kids say goodbye to us?
All right, guys, I really enjoyed it. Brendan, I really appreciate you being blacked out and off your mic the entire time.
What up, bro?
Thank you. No,
What up, bro?
Yo, kids, Georgia
close.
sucks.
what'd you say?
I said Georgia sucks.
Jake, actually, I texted my buddy. My roommate's a diehard Alabama fan. You guys need to get drinks one night, and I said, "Who's the best wide receiver in Alabama history?" And he said, "Probably between Julio or Devontae."
Yeah, I mean Julio started. I mean, we're not going to get into this, but Julio was
We
like
can
the
get into
first
this.
big. He was the first big Saban recruit, and that's kind of like what tipped the
But the
whole.
question is, he goes, statistically, he's right. What you said, but he's like, who would he want back on the
Julio.
team?
Julio.
Right. That was his point.
I mean, ask kids about the blackout game.
There's some fans at SEC games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Georgia's looking for a new AD if any of y'all want to throw your name in the hat.
Sounds like a world I would get eaten up in. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
anything
I
about.
wouldn't suspect you'd be at the top of the list, frankly.
Just like Southern football to me is a whole world that I can't even touch. Like I'm not anything about that. Nothing about my makeup can survive that. Even like we went to a Clemson game and that was crazy for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Midwest football, and I think we're pretty into it, but it doesn't touch the South.
No.
I mean, me and Smitty almost died when we went to Louisville for a game. Like, there was a fucking giant, like, inflatable slide. Oh yeah, Trent was
yeah.
He collapsed the slide. It was a nightmare. People were screaming.
We don't have to get into that, but that's
People were screaming.
People were screaming.
Dude, they were. I've
Sound
seen
like
the
you're
video.
alive.
that's one of the few times in my life where I was not sure it was going to be okay. And
Clark, you got a couple big bodies on an inflatable thing. Like, imagine you going down one of those things. It topples. I mean, Smitty's a big body, and they both went down. There was a bunch of girls on it, and it like exploded and fell over everyone. There was horror screams from the
There
video.
were.
No, I mean, just the
never-
way Riggs explained screaming is something.
Yes.
But then
It was
Smitty's
shrieks.
also-
Shrieking is more the word. It was shrieks.
Smitty's scary
Yeah.
because he's a big body with no athleticism and no control over his body. So
He's
like
actually
he
because like,
scares me.
he's square. At least you're like nimble and
Yes.
you can maneuver
He
your way.
He's a one. He can't turn left or right or do
No.
anything to stop. He is.
No.
There-
I remember we were at the like at 5-iron. I gave Smitty my driver. He took one swing with it, put a dummy mark right on top of like a brand new driver. And I looked at him. I was like, "Dude, come on, man! One swing. You had one swing. That's all you had. And you had to put a dummy mark on it." And then the best part about Smitty, so this guy Kiss, he like brags about, and he's a great dude. He's awesome.
I met
brags
Smitty at
about
Rough and Rowdy.
okay, yeah, he
Okay,
brags
that's
about
right.
being an athlete, like a high school like try hard athlete, which is the best part of the backside of him.
yeah. Yep.
People were shrieking. They were legit. Like, The girls were shrieking. They were screaming for their lives.
There is video of that somewhere, and I don't think I could watch it again. Terrifying.
More scared than Jake when Jake saw a kangaroo.
No, I'm
Jake was pretty fucking afraid of the kangaroo.
I was
man.
pretty afraid of this kangaroo. So
I've
In
never seen
Australia,
one. Yeah.
he was shook. Jake
Dude,
was shook.
I'm watching that footage like as we speak, like maybe 5 hours ago. I was watching it, and Jake, you were legitimately like upset.
And I was like terrified. Yeah.
You
Dude, I'm
can't go
not-
near the. Don't go near the kangaroo.
Dude, I'm
Don't
not
go near the kangaroo,
outdoors,
guys.
but-
This isn't even funny anymore. I need to go home. We didn't come all the way to
Exactly.
the fucking other side of the world to get kicked by a kangaroo. And he
Dude, I
like
would-
walked like fast. Like,
Yeah, I sprinted
That's a
away.
little baby.
I was like, dude, it's a fucking kangaroo.
Dude, everyone's filming you walk away from you guys trying
He's like,
to
fine,
film
fuck y'all.
kangaroos.
And then he walked away.
Yes.
Like, dude, the kangaroo could just get you. You're not like
Kids.
going into hyperspace. He could just go where you're walking.
Kids, can I ask a golf question?
Yeah, man.
How did it feel to watch the Alabama game with Justin Thomas? Was he talking shit?
No, we were very subdued. It was actually very quiet because Georgia was obviously hanging early, and then as it got out of control, we just argued back and forth about calls the entire time about how the refs were screwing us. And then obviously he didn't feel that same way.
Was the
Yeah.
that question that was golf just Justin Thomas? Was that it?
Yeah,
Well, they were at the tournament. They were at a tournament.
Yeah,
we were.
you guys usually watch that game together, I feel like.
We were supposed to be there this year, but didn't work out. COVID 2020.
Oh,
About to be 2020.
I was going to let him show me around Tuscaloosa.
Damn.
Been to Tuscaloosa. It's a good time.
I'm sure it is. Most SEC school cities are.
There's like, everybody says there's like a bar that's JT's fucking bar, and he has, whenever he goes back, he always gets like the front table and posts up there for like 8 hours straight.
Yeah, I'll probably be there too.
Dude, that place blew my mind, Tuscaloosa.
That was the Morgan Wallen bar, Innisfree.
Yeah, he missed Saturday Night Live over it.
He was back 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they gave him a second chance.
that's nice. Nice to see second chances, you know?
You watch movies or shows, kids?
Mostly sports this time of year, Frankie.
You're not binging anything on
I just did Yellowstone, this summer.
yeah.
Nothing right now. My wife says we're gonna watch something called The Undying or Undoing.
Undoing, yeah.
Undoing.
It's fucking
Is that
good,
good?
man.
I
Yeah.
binged it one day. I binged it like
Really?
from 1 a.m. to like 7 fucking a.m. It was crazy.
That's a
Just
good one.
stayed up.
It's
and
just
watched.
it's a murder mystery. Who done it? So it's
Exactly.
like you can watch that shit no problem. Like
Hugh
super
Grant,
easily.
Pittman.
I guess I'm about to go start that then.
There you go.
Is that on HBO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, is there somebody hot in that? Nicole Kidman or somebody like that?
Well,
There's
there's
Nicole Kidman, who I think is very attractive.
dude, she's a smoke bomb in this series.
Who, Nicole Kidman?
She's what, like 56?
I don't know, but I
Bro,
love
I looked up. She's like 53 or 56, and she looks like she's fucking like 24, like younger than Kiz looks right now.
She looks great, but then there's the mistress in the show. Get ready to have your mind blown because this girl is crazy hot.
Really?
Yes.
Maybe the best body, ever shown on TV in TV history.
Mistresses and Nicole Kidman. I'm in. I'm about to get
Bro.
started.
Get ready.
Make a little bowl of popcorn.
Yeah. Buttered, salted. Let's roll.
Bro.
I haven't had that.
Good as movie popcorn. I miss movie popcorn, man.
Dude, I used to go to the movies when I was in the mood for popcorn. I'd be like, I'm fucking in the mood for popcorn. Let's go to the movies. Like, I would rather get that whole experience. Large tub in between my legs.
You'd
Fucking
rather
those
pay
nice new-
$20 for the
Yes.
whole bucket than just
Yes.
$2
Bro,
at the store.
when Game of Thrones was going crazy, I actually went to the movie theater in New York City by my apartment, got movie theater popcorn, and brought it back to my apartment. Game changer.
At least New York's good for something.
I
Yeah.
used to get a big packet of Milk Duds with popcorn and just love
You
it.
got to dump the Reese's Pieces.
Oh,
in
I
the
don't. I
popcorn.
hate when people mix the pop. I
Yeah,
get
don't do
the
that either.
salty
Get
and
chocolate
sweet.
hand.
Ugh. Ugh.
Ugh.
You know what? It's time. It's time for that Christmas popcorn, where it's like the
Oh,
three
dude, the
things.
four corners with the caramel and
Caramel.
oh,
And
Cheddar
that
box.
cheddar one, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, the caramel.
Fuck you. You know what? I'm going to get one tomorrow. You can just get it at like a fucking CVS. There's a million of them.
I'm sure you're probably doing like a Dave Portnoy review on one pretty soon.
I've actually the last 10 minutes, or actually feels like more, I've just been grinding over pizza places for tomorrow. Like I'm getting text messages, just making the list. It's hard, bro.
Well, you might as well fly to Scottsdale and see Riggsy and do one.
Well, we're going there on Wednesday.
This place, you know Grimaldi's Pizza, Frank?
Yep. They have one out there?
It's literally it's across the street, like from my physical apartment, not just
Get out of here.
my actual apartment. So,
Dude, I heard actually Scottsdale in particular, maybe it's like Tempe. Arizona has some fucking good pizza.
dude,
Makes sense.
really good pizza.
Why
This
does that make
Grimaldi's
sense?
This Grimaldi's
Really
place.
Why does that make sense?
Well, how does that make sense, Lurch?
Makes 0 sense, Lurch.
I think
Zero.
it makes perfect sense.
No,
That-
it makes
that-
0.
That Scottsdale, Arizona has great pizza.
Tough when you go to make a throwaway comment like Lurch, and then people just call you out on it.
Yes.
No, I think my defense of that is like kind of wacky, but I think in my head it makes sense. But I'm going to leave it as that.
Talk
Have
to
you
us.
been to Mastro's yet, Riggs?
No.
You got to go to Mastro's. It's a good spot.
Like Scottsdale's got to be known for Mexican food.
Yeah, the Mexican food here is the tacos. It's phenomenal here.
They don't have us Italians like they do in New York or Scottsdale. What
But I will say, dude, this
Fucking
Grimaldi,
mudda.
you know what? You know why the pizza's good is you get a ton of snowbirds that move from that area out here, open up restaurants, and cook some good fucking
The
pizza.
only part I could see to Lurch's point is that people move from the places that, like, if that was going to be your argument, I would agree with you. The people that move from the places where the pizza are good to that area, then yes, the pizza will end up being good. Like Florida, or like if you go to Naples, where all the fucking Brooklynites, like they all retire down there, they need good pizza. All those fucking retired mafia guys, if you think they're not bringing the brick oven slice with them, you're insane. So there's actually really good pizza in Florida.
What do you think about the water? People always say like the water's different.
Kiz doesn't know about the water.
Don't get Frankie started, Brendan.
Kiz doesn't even want to talk about the
No,
water.
I mean, me and Frankie probably agree on this then.
There's an argument to be made that New York has water that allows the New York dough to have a certain kind of chemical balance to raise, right? So like the yeast, the dough, all this stuff, it's just something about the water to the point where places in Arizona and Colorado, they'll ship the water from New York out there to get their bagels to rise, all that shit.
I call bullshit.
It's got to do something with like our level of elevation and the water. It's just
It's probably
a
just the
perfect chemical mix.
corruptedness and the terribleness of your water. Now people dying up there because of the water. or something.
Maybe it's maybe it's people drowning in the Hudson River, the salt.
Yeah.
Also, you guys
for
are
a
just
great
at
pizza and bagel, that's for sure.
You're just at sea level, like you're on Long Island, like you're just.
I added that little part, and I've never heard that part.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one.
I was gonna say you're.
Just gonna let it ride.
You're at like 6 feet elevation.
Yeah, I made that one up.
Trent, you got khakis on?
No, I got sweatpants on.
Ooh, look at
Wow.
those yams.
Good.
Whoa.
Oh,
Good flexibility too. Throwing
How
those
cold
heels
is it up there? Is it cold as balls today?
yes, probably. Let me look. It was like 35 today.
35.
Gross.
Yeah, it's 36 outside right now.
No snow yet?
No.
It's been raining
It's
the last
coming.
couple days, but the rain or the snow's coming.
It's coming.
Hopefully.
Enjoy.
I like snow.
I don't mind cold weather.
I see. You look like it's cold in your apartment.
Who was I talking? Maybe I was talking to Frankie about this the other day, or I was talking to somebody about it. Whenever it dips below like 38 degrees, I now put this hat on because the bald spot I have going on in my head right now is much worse than I even realized.
He's mad at us.
What?
You're mad at us for not telling you the other day in
When we were
Philly.
in Philly at the gambling house, I kept noticing clips of us going out, and the one thing I kept looking at was my bald spot, and it is much worse than I realized. So now I just put a hat on whenever I can. It's cold out, I'm putting this hat on. It's bad, dude.
Show us.
Yeah, just show it.
Wow, that looks good.
You know?
You know?
I might have to
It's
go.
just time to go straight raise on that thing.
Are you gonna do the rigs?
Dude,
think
you
so,
will
yeah.
look you will look so tough. It's crazy when
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
bald.
Yeah, I used to do that when I played football in high school. I'd shave my head.
I do. It was SVP said I look menacing.
He did say that. If I went full bald, I'd be in the hospital. So I mean, it's
Yeah, same.
You have great
I
hair,
look awful.
Frankie. When you don't wear a hat, I think you have good hair.
I mean, I wore a hat all day today, so it's not showing up. But I mean, it's there. It's not Kiz fucking Smiley Kaufman hair.
You got
But it
kind
is
of a
what-
Euro. You got like a Euro hair
Yeah.
look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stands up a little. It's like I don't
You
know.
look like a substitute soccer player hair.
Are we talking about me right now or Bug?
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
man.
He needs gel
My
in
hair.
his hair.
Dude, my
Yeah.
hair's way too long.
You think my hat's fucking tight? It's like red. My head.
Uh,
All
All
right.
right, boys, I enjoyed it. I'm going to watch Undoing or Undying or whatever.
It's not that hard to say. It's just undoing.
Okay,
one word.
thank you.
Wait, we want a full report back on.
Yeah.
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 I'm curious to see who you think did it like throughout the episodes because it changed a few times
Just
as we went.
let us
How
know
many
what you think
episodes
about.
are there?
I think it's only six. And they're
Seven,
like
6 or
seven. And they're like an
Let us
hour
know what you
pop.
think about some of the things you see in that show.
All right. You may just text the thread here.
Yeah, just send us a thread. Yeah, send us.
Yeah.
Send us.
Riggs will send it
Send
to
us
us.
a thread.
Get the boys going a little bit.
yeah, I like to get going on a little group text.
Get the boys going a little bit.
I will start it too. I've never seen it. I'll start it with you.
Because
All right.
the last thing I'll say, you want to know how opposite our lives are to yours and how you're a professional athlete. We're not. Trent and I, for our job, streamed a video game for 14 hours the other day. And while you were out probably playing golf, getting better at your skill and making $700,000 in a week. What do you think about that? That we sat on a fucking chair and played a video game for 14 hours. That's how we spent a day of our lives.
It was also like a weekend for you. That was like
Yeah.
Saturday. It was a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Trent doesn't have anything better to do. He's going to sit there anyway.
Sorry, bro.
True, though. I don't disagree with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, Trent. That's fine.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's great.
Bachelorette isn't on until Tuesday.
Are you still live tweeting that?
Of course.
Yeah. Who's going to win?
Right now, I would say it's neck and neck between Ben and Zach C.
They've been doing a lot of sexing on there.
No, they don't usually do the sex thing until there's later in the show. There's a little thing called the fantasy suite dates, where when there's 4 people left, they all get a night in the fantasy suite and they get to do the sex thing, which is good.
That's when it really happens. That's when you figure out who you want to do it with.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's when Trent gets going in the group chats. Oh, fuck, they're going in this fantasy suites.
Dude,
That's when you need to be dragging the bags out after that. See what's all left in the bags.
I love that show unconditionally. There's just no way about it.
don't they, Trent? Doesn't the guy usually like always keeps at least one of the super crazy but really hot chicks around for the fantasy suite?
Well, yeah, that's been happening in recent memory where you look at one girl and she's just going off the wall and you're like, why is he keeping her around? And then it dawns on you that like the fantasy suite dates are coming up and it's like, if I've gone through this much mental torture, we might as well have a fantasy suite date together.
They do the sex thing.
The sex thing.
Yeah.
I've heard a few things about that. The sex thing.
Like
What a
patty cake.
fucking golf show this was. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay, Kevin.
All golf.
Undoing. I'm gonna start it tonight too.
So
All right,
good.
I'll probably make it through half an episode, so don't text me.
It'll take me days to get through an episode. for
Yeah.
sure. All right.
I'm not gonna binge watch it all night like Brendan. I have kids that wake up at 6:30.
Dude, that was just so interesting. I needed to do it.
No, there's never anything that interesting unless it's somebody naked.
Well,
you may very much watch a lot of these episodes then. Oh man. All right, Kiss.
All right,
Thanks, bro.
I enjoyed
Appreciate
it, boys.
Bye,
Yeah.
If I don't
Kevin.
hear from you, Merry Christmas. I'll send y'all lots of video of Riggs missing ducks.
Hell yeah, I love that.
As long as someone hits him, it looks like I shot it.
That's right. What I always do when I have somebody is I'm like, all right, Riggs, shoot that one. And he shoots and I shoot at the same time. I'm like, good shot, man.
Pat on the back.
Can't wait. See you, kids.
All right, y'all be good. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Later.